Welcome once again, all you Warhammers and Warhammies, to the best episode of Big M's Power Hour to date. I'm your host, Big M, along with the best co-host in the world, Cole C. Cole, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Glad to hear from you again, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. So, I forget, this is the first show back, or was that last month?
First show back for me.
All right, so he's now a world traveler.
Yep. Messed that up now. now I like food that isn't American, and my body can attest to that I do not like American food anymore. So, that's okay. But it was fun time. I am a little disappointed. Like, I should have made time to try and go to a Warhammer store while I was over there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I thought about it afterwards. Like, I probably could have hit up one somewhere. I was in enough major cities. There had to be one.
Jamie would have given you the okay for one.
Yeah, she would have been okay with it.
So, and we don't have too terribly much.
Yeah, I didn't miss much in the world of Warhammer, at least during my trip.
No. We're in a little bit of a... so basically where we are in real world...
It's the calm before the storm of holiday season.
Yeah. So basically where we are right now, so just a couple days ago, the new book went up for pre-order, what the hell's the damn thing called? The Dawnbringers.
There we go. Yeah,
so
Dawnbringers.
Dawnbringers 2 over here.
There we go.
So Dawnbringers 3 is up for pre-order now, so we can't really get too fully
right.
Because again, GW, I missed your shipment. I didn't get it, so
It's a shame. It's a real shame.
An email. I'll get you that address updated. All right, we can get that.
Yeah.
Get those advanced copies in, so we can get a proper show going on. So any sort of, if the show seems a little bit lower quality, it's all GW. I can't.
That's who we're blaming today. Yep. Okay. Glad to hear it.
So again, since we are the sister show on this channel, I assume that you watch the main program, the weekly Strength Hammer podcast.
There's another show on this channel.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
So Neil is currently working on a campaign map. See, the last, 4 fucking weeks.
Probably, yeah.
So for that, essentially what it is he built this giant physical hex. Well, he's building this giant physical hex map, one hex at a time, and him and a couple people in Ohio, one Ohioan excluded up here who hasn't thrown his hat in to paint yet.
I don't even paint my own stuff. Come on now.
So he's really excited about that. I got my... so basically, he came to me to look for how to do heroes. So I told him... I kind of gave him some direction, and then that kind of sparked some inspiration in me. Now, this actually started for his Bard's Battle Against the Realm that I guess he sissed out on now.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. I think he sissed out on giving the actual event this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I pushed him to high hell, but
I know you did.
I am but one man from the other side of the planet. I cannot.
Look, I'm real disappointed. I moved close enough that I could go home every night after bars, and now we aren't having it.
So I built a brand new system because he didn't like the old system of
hero building,
the war hero, or the championing, the War Scroll champions that I did at Nova a couple years ago, many years ago, I guess at this point. So that wasn't good enough for him, so I had to come up with a new one. So what I came up with was a little D&D-esque where you choose your race, and then there's some kind of generic classes. We'll probably, whenever we get closer, we'll probably do a episode over it. Why not?
Why not? So long as Neil doesn't limp out and just throw it aside as well. It's okay.
Well, I mean, besides him printing out hexes, this is really the core of the game.
Right. Yeah.
So have
your contribution?
Have you looked at it at all?
Very little at this point, but I do remember just you and I talking about it in our own time of what this whole system looks like. So, have gotten to play around with it a little there.
Yeah.
But have I gone through and created my own character yet? No, I can't say I have.
Well, what are you leaning towards? Obviously,
So,
Idneth.
obviously Aidneth, and I think it would be fun just because there isn't really anything in the range to show it right now. And on foot, oh geez, I can't even think of what they're called. One of the not soulless but on foot character like that. So somebody that's a knight and doesn't have their mount for whatever reason. So I think that's what I want to mess around with.
As a side note, if you really want to piss off Neil, you can make a Stormcast.
Okay. We'll see. Maybe.
So basically, all the alliances work. There's basically almost no alliances. If you're going to play a dwarf, you pick what's your flavor, and he goes in that army.
Right.
If you there's tier level abilities that you get to pick 1 through 3, and essentially during character creation, there's some things you can do to like level them up. So if you go skink, but you want to go a little more castery, you can put, I think it's one of your tier level 1 abilities into becoming a Slan, so you get a little bit better casting, and then you lose a little bit of whatever skink would have been giving you. Now, additionally, there's also generic ones, so you can do things like, oh, but I also want to be able to cast Mystic Bolt or Arcane Shield or whatever.
Right.
And on top of that, there's also I think I just called it Foreign Exchange, where you can just, if it's long as it's in the same grand order, you could take something from a different thing and bring it over to yours.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. That can be entertaining.
So if you wanted to do a Fire Slayer,
cool. Why not? we brought one Fire Slayer along with us. Don't worry, guys.
Again, the only thing I really have in a place right now that is where I can kind of like actually have some variety and some moving around with is my Soul Blight.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, by the way, skeletons are 100%, well, 99.9% done. I have to figure out what I want to do with the magnet situation.
Okay. Well, we'll call them done, table ready then.
Right. Well, again, they're all painted up. You got even the base rooms are painted. There's stuff's on there, and the base is done. So
they're done.
The problem is like whenever I was dry brushing, since again it literally is just 2 little like sticks holding the whole body up, there's a lot of flex. Like I would go like, ooh, and the body would go, ugh. So I'm afraid of putting a magnet on there and then picking up a torso and leaving some legs
and not the rest of the model. Yeah, that'll do it.
They might just live in foam.
You're making it sound like that's their safest option.
Yeah, we'll probably go
that or magnets that you are very afraid are not actually working.
Right. I mean, they're super light. I mean, I only need
right. Need to be much of a hold,
right?
But
so. Now, again, one of the things is I'm not a huge fan of the zombie dragon.
Okay.
And on top of that, it was out of stock for a very long time. So during that time, I think I talked about it last episode where I asked Anthony to print me something, and so I finally got it fully built and actually green stuffed. So this is my proxy for a zombie dragon.
Beautiful.
As you can see, it's a little bigger than a zombie dragon.
It's got a little bit of size. It fits on the base, though.
Yes.
This
is the base for zombie dragon. So as you can see, now
seems legit to me.
There's so as far as the rider goes, it's nothing super exciting. It's just little guy with a lance.
That's all good.
Yeah, can't ask for too much more. So
no.
I figured this was going to be... Well, so I made a Cavalier character for
like
Nova.
A class. Yeah, that. Yes, it is.
And I personally thought it was one of the strongest classes that I made, and maybe a little too powerful, but no one even wanted to take 2 seconds to look at it.
Okay.
So I also made a Cavalier thing in this as well. Obviously, a little different because of the structure is completely different. But
Right.
one of the things is I had to put, prior to even knowing that I was going to get this model, I had to put something in place preventing someone from doing exactly what I'm trying to do right here, right now. So I put in base limitations. Now, last edition, so I bought both the box sets during second edition, the holiday bundles, and that's where this Harmony came from. So one of the extra things I bought was the Mortex set to make Manfred.
Okay.
Now, not only do I not know where that box is, Manfred's not good anymore. So I got as far as making his mount. Which, Neil, if you're watching, you can see if you build it properly, they don't droop.
Don't you pick on his droopy horse.
Yeah, see, it's nice.
It does seem like it can stand on its own. Yes.
So
yes, it does.
What's cool is I realized, so he fits on here with very little. Very
not
little
bad
problem.
At all. Yeah.
So the issue is before reaching out to Anthony, I had another friend try and print this horse, or print the giant zombie dragon to no avail. So she did her best, but at least I got another rider out of it. So
sounded like it worked out perfectly for you in the end.
As you can see, they're a little bit different posed.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit different, just so there's some variety. But yeah, so that'll be basically what I use. And Neil's gonna hate it if he dies. He wants us to come up with a new hero. Well, he's gonna have a brother, so
perfect.
He's gonna have a twin. There you go.
Yeah. He doesn't need to know about that yet.
Yeah. So honestly, like for this guy, I was looking at him in pieces. I was very, very scared of all of this.
That's fair.
Trying to paint it, but whenever I looked at it, let me see. I think if you look in here, there really is there's some cloth. They actually did a really good job of keeping it minimalistic to the amount of like chains and stuff.
Okay. So so you're not worrying about too many transitions with your brush.
So I have cloth. There's some muscle in here without skin. Okay. There's some skin and some bone. So it's actually very big, very impressive without a lot of that classic GW intricate.
Really fine detail that welcome to the painting bench. You will be here for a long time.
There's no letter hidden, tucked away, like where they've been working on it for a long time. No manuscripts. And so I think it'll look, I think that's going to look pretty good.
Awesome. I'm excited to see it.
I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to have, basically what I have to do for these guys is I have to look at the other Mortarks and see how they're printed. And then, or painted, see what the default paint scheme is, and then try to avoid that.
Right, not do that.
I'm pretty sure I'm just going to do blood for the blood god on the skulls.
That's okay.
I think that'll work for a vampire.
Yeah, that'll work.
Mean, of course, they're all vampires, but he's not like... He's not a Mortark, so...
No, he's not that high up there. It's okay. He still gets a little dirty. It's all right.
So, there you go. Yeah, and I'll...
Awesome.
I don't know. Maybe I'll post some pictures if I get further along. Who knows?
Yeah, post some pictures. Keep us all updated on the progress. Yeah. See you next month to see where it's at.
I'm still working on... So, this is how far I am with my 100 zombies. They're all done.
Okay.
But right now, I'm currently... I'm waiting a little long. I'm starting to lose hope. I ordered a bottle of Tester's Dull Coat so I could seal them all. Because the basing material I'm doing is wet mud.
Oh, okay.
So I have to do Dull Coat, and then I have to put the wet mud. And I'm not...
Right.
All the skeletons, because I only have 20, I did those... I just brushed on matte varnish on top of them. I'm not brushing 100 matte varnish on.
That's fair, but yeah, we're running out of time here in the Northeast to prime models. So
I mean, worst case scenario, I dry out and heat up my garage and
Fair enough. Could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Just put cars outside and set up a paint booth in there. Yeah.
Right. Well, so the last update I got tomorrow was the date it should come in, and tomorrow there's not supposed to be any rain, so
Okay. That'd be the time.
we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So again, maybe like I said, we'll see. I'll probably, if not November, then we'll go December for
Yeah.
over that. Let me see. Let me double check something real quick here. Yes, that is what I thought. 3rd year anniversary. Yay.
Oh. Holy crap. Yeah. Congrats on that.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be not too far until my 2nd year anniversary of being on here then. Jeez.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you having me around here that long?
Better than Chuck. Tell you, man.
Oof. Well, I didn't know we were setting the bar on the floor, so, you know.
No, yeah. So, I don't know. I thought last year what was it? The Power Hour, the actual Power Hour would be fun, but
Yeah, no, I think that was yeah, we're good. We're good.
I thought it was a fun idea. I thought again, where we just did it nice and casual. Where like if you think you're drinking
Right.
too much, just stop.
Right. Right.
And you kind of,
I pushed a touch. Yeah.
I think you were the
Yeah.
only person that actually made an attempt.
I did try.
Yeah.
I did try.
See, that was the problem. Is it just made me look like an idiot? That's all.
You were all right. You were all right. You're the sober end of this whole deal. I'm allowed to, get belligerent about these things because I'm always the level head in the group.
Well, so also that was the other thing, like that you could see on real time in camera. So I started getting a little tipsy,
hmm
and then by the end of the episode, it was already worn off,
Right.
and I could have went straight back to drinking, and I wouldn't have got tipsy again. Would have been done.
Nice.
I don't understand. It's a very bizarre phenomenon. Of course, I don't.
Right. You never drink,
Right,
so
I
I'm
don't
sure it
drink.
affects you very quickly. And then you're just a big guy, so like
Yeah.
if you needed to, you could keep going.
My liver just like, whatever.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, let's get on to the news here. We didn't have, like I said, too terribly much, but we still had some fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't think that's where we're supposed to be. Okay,
Uh-oh.
that's fine. We'll come back to it. All right, so we got into a decent amount of the first week of October last month, just because of how the month lasted. But starting off here, we'll have the 40 years of October 9th, 40 years of Warhammer favorite miniatures from people behind the game. So we had basically everyone kind of picking out their stuff. Of course, no last names because we still don't want to give anyone credit for who they are and what they do.
I didn't say nothing, but yeah, it does feel like that sometimes.
I enjoy the around the world picks.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Avatar Arcane. No surprise
I
seeing
mean,
that on there.
Yeah, definitely. Avatar Kane, the Lord of Plagues. I remember seeing that model done so many times whenever it first got brought out, and just continuing that people would paint it and modify it.
Jump the hell down there, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean,
All right. Starting at the top, I guess. Sorry.
like I said, I think Avatar Kane, totally get it. Watching the Dark, sure, I guess. This is probably. I'm surprised this is a bizarre pick.
I feel like this is the. Are you a Dark Angels player? Have you been forever? This is your favorite model, and you know it.
Saurus Oldblood. I was surprised to see a Carnosaur make the list because it's such an old model.
It is, but I feel like it stood the test of time well.
Here's the thing. I think in a vacuum, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
But recently seeing the new Seraphon models.
Okay.
Imagine,
That was done now.
like, try to think of the GW current style and imagine what they would do for Carnosaur now and put the two side by side.
Yeah, okay. You're right. Because that's the model I want, is the one that they do now. Yeah.
Right. Well, because again, I mean, that's one of the issues. Like, again, as since we're currently testing Seraphon, which, by the way, we got game 1 of Seraphon in, and I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of promise. We'll keep testing and finding out here. But trying to take Saurus Guard next to Saurus Warriors is very difficult for me. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, so moving along here. So we got Angron. I'm not sure how I feel about someone choosing Angron already.
It feels a bit early for going through it, but if we're looking at the entire 40 years,
I get it, but that's also like choosing the new lady on the on the line thing. You know,
look. We don't know who Wade is really. Maybe Wade's a new guy on the team. He doesn't have all
Wade's
that.
Probably the person that sculpted this.
The Wade person sculpted this. In which case, Wade, I fully understand. I'd vote for me too. I get it.
Tom, little. Come on, Tom.
Like, Tom. Get it,
Tom. Like, first off, I don't know. We need to get some clear line of communications here, because what's pictured is a Grey Knight Land Raider, and what is listed is a Space Marine Land Raider.
Yes, that is true.
Very different. All right. Again, are we just talking about the Land Raider? Did you
one is gray,
like the Space Marine?
Like,
hey, there's a solid gold one out there too. So that's
that there is. You know, if you go way back, the Blood Angels used to have these ones that would drop from orbit on you. Oh, yeah. That was a good time.
Yes, that was one of the first things I actually was introduced to 40K was the meme of a Blood Angel playing guitar on a re-entering
orbit Land Raider. Hey, I love the current meme of the Space Marine playing the sax on top of a Land Raider and going. That is great, honestly.
Let's see here. So we have the Pyrovore, which I guess that's brand new, because that does not.
Yeah, that's a new model. It's a really good resculpt in my mind. I saw a lot of Pyrovores beforehand because I played with somebody who played a lot of Tyranids. That's really cool.
Andy, look, see, so again, Andy not just stating the TAC squad, but specifically was that 6? Or was that 4? That's 6.
At 6. Yep.
The Mark 6. Again, you really like those beakies. I don't know what to tell you. Gotta
throw down some chicken feed. Feed your Space Marines. Sorry.
And then of course we got so here's the thing. Like, I made fun a little bit about the Watcher in the Dark here, but here we have the Orc Shaman with Bone Staff. Like, this to me is very representative of what Warhammer was.
Oh yeah, very cool, very old Warhammer. And to be quite honest, like, looking at the face and stuff, it's not that bad of a sculpt.
Yeah,
like
that still looks really
I get
good.
It. Yeah, it's really not that bad.
And again, one of the ones that I have to agree with still, even to this day, the Green Knight.
Yeah, very iconic.
Yeah,
very iconic.
Now, whoever picked the Beast Lord with Great Weapon. Now you didn't go deep enough. You didn't try hard enough. If you want to go like, oh, look at my knowledge of the stuff, and I really like Beastmen, so I'll just pick the beast. No. You go with the Ostrich Man. All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need to go find the Ostrich Man. I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, there's an Ostrich Man. Hold on, let's see.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Doing it live here on the internet, everyone. Let's see.
Boom. Yeah, it literally comes up first. If you type in Warhammer Beasts of Chaos Ostrich Man. Oh, but it's very small.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's what you go. All right.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Don't. Yeah. Look. Okay. Let's see. Who? Lionel. Come on, man. Go deep.
Yeah.
Don't just
go
bad skull.
Go real deep in the hard lore.
Same thing with, like, I don't know. I'm a little torn on Philip's pick here of the missionary with chainsword. I can go.
I mean, way. I'm okay with it. I mean, it's pretty good. It shows how crazy the Warhammer lore can get. I'm all right with it.
All right. I'll let you go. Now the next one, Brother Captain Artemis. This like sold me on Death Watch. Well,
that box set was the Death Watch.
I love
that was a good one.
I love the Death Watch so much, and if I was playing 40K, I would definitely have some Death Watch something.
Right.
I was also immediately humbled whenever they had the article coming up talking about the like whatever it was, the old school models coming back made to order, and this guy was on it. I'm like, he came out like 3-4 years ago, and I was like,
right, it's not that old, right?
I still think it's a little older than that, but it's still not
right. Not like need to get hey guys, heads up, we're gonna bring back this really old model. Sitting there like, I'm not that old. What the hell?
And then now we're finally caught up in Cold
Time
here to the Lord of Plagues.
Catch up, keep up, everybody.
I absolutely agree with you.
Like this is the iconic Warhammer model.
Yeah, this is not only is it iconic for Warhammer, but it's also it represents everything in Nurgle.
Yeah,
I mean this literally encompasses the entire army in one model.
I can't disagree with you. It really does. And there's a lot going on with the model. And I think it was just a painter's paradise for a while there when it first came out because there's so many different textures.
And right next to them, the complete opposite of
textures and all that. Yeah, good old Marnie's Calgar.
I forget, did they come out the Primaris version of him?
I don't know. I'm going to be a very bad Warhammer player for not knowing.
I don't care that much. We're an AOS show. So have you followed up on the comics at all?
I have not. How have they been?
So I haven't read them myself. I only read someone's synopsis, and there was something huge in there. The real Calgar is dead, and the current one is just a stand-in as like a figurehead.
Excuse me?
Right? Go read the comics.
I missed something rather important here, I feel like.
Yeah, so we'll see on that one. But again, that's kind of an old one at this point. White King, sure. Nagash, you knew he was going to be on the list.
He had to be, right?
This silliness. Who's actually pretty early on in AOS.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he's on a square base, so that had to have been old.
Yeah, he was end times, I think. Because they can't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because the Mortarch, speaking of, the Mortarch's the same and has the exact same little guys.
Yeah.
So that's so there you go. Now that's talking about future casting there. That's
yeah, they did good. It worked out.
Yeah, because he honestly his AO he is so spot on for what AOS became.
Yeah, definitely. And he became an iconic model.
He's more AOS than Celestin Prime.
I tell you what, I definitely would see him much more than I have the Celestin Prime over the years. And yeah.
Farseer. Okay, Tom.
Sure. Yeah, basic Farseer. I mean, yeah.
See, that's right. That's a basic pick, Tom.
That is a basic pick. There we go.
At least get like a Wraith or something, or I don't know. And then I gotta say, Golfag Maneater, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't remember ever actually having gotten to see that model, and I'm very sad that we don't have a profile for him in AOS so that somebody could run that really cool Like, this is so we can get our foot ogres out there and
Yeah.
somebody else runs something different.
Yeah, I mean,
Bring them back, G-Dubs.
That's what's funny. Is like today that battle tome could use him.
Yep.
And then we got a part 2 out on the 13th.
Yes.
Dragon Princes. Yeah, I mean that classic, iconic.
Yep.
Life Taker. Okay, sure, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Sure, I guess. Fine.
We'll let it go.
All right, and then we got the new Castellan Crow model.
Right, his resculpt, which I thought the sword being out and like with all the smoke plume was a cool idea, personally.
Here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with this sculpt. There's nothing wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is how they kind of like pumped him up as like this really important, really powerful and he's not even Terminator armor, and he's not like he didn't get Terminator armor,
and he just gets slapped. Yeah,
he didn't get Primaris armor. His rules are pretty lackluster, and then we are desperately dying for a new Drago model.
True. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Could you imagine if this would have been Drago instead of Castellan Crow?
A lot of people would have been happier.
Right. Again, and like, so I feel bad for him because this is a cool model. It's a cool sculpt. He's a cool character. Just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess Duncan came back for a day to pick the incubator.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Kind of an odd choice, but again, like that's one of the things. Like I've always actually really liked the aesthetic of the Dark Eldar.
Yeah, same.
I really like the black panels with the outlining. I would go to the Dark Eldar anytime I wanted to teach a new painter color theory.
Oh, okay.
So what I would do is I would pull up a picture and go, hey, what do you think of that model? And then I go, oh, it's pretty cool. And then I would take it away and go, hey, what color was that? And they'd always say like, dark blue or dark green or whatever like that. And I pull it back up and I go, yeah, no, it's black.
It's black with some good highlighting. Yeah. But it looks good. It always does.
Intercessor. Okay. I guess someone's trying to get a raise here.
Yeah, I don't know why we chose Heavy Intercessor. Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The Heavy Intercessor's a cool model. A little bit more of a daddy time bolter going on here.
There we go. There we go.
A little basic.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos Space Marine Lord.
Yeah, just the old Lord. Nothing wrong with that.
There has to be kind of a better, I don't know.
Like there was probably a sculpt out there in the olden days that he could have gone with, but.
Vashtor, the model that.
The Nightmare Fuel is still real.
It's a
good model.
The Pan Flash.
Yep.
The one that was going to end in reality as we knew it, and kind of.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm still mad at him because I wanted that hammer to be Chaos Dwarf so bad.
I know you did. I know. You still hold a freaking grudge over that. I do know that.
So again, it's what no matter how much I try and get away from dwarves, it's you don't
just pulls you back in.
You don't choose dwarves choose you.
That's how it is.
Gazcool. Again, there's no way you can't love this model if you have a pulse. I mean, like if you can have any appreciation for orcs at all, you have to like this model.
Yes, and if you ever played, what was it? Some of the original Dawn of Wars, whenever you could play as him in the campaign. Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, that was fun.
Absolutely. Leman Russ battle tank.
I mean, if you tell me to think Imperial Guard,
no, absolutely,
I'm probably going to go straight to the Leman Russ.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. It's like where this is kind of where I feel bad because I'm not going to apologize for giving some people a hard time for having basic choices. Mm-hmm. Dan gets a pass, all right, because
It is iconic. That is the Army's whole symbol.
To choose such a terrible model as your favorite model, but at the same time not be lying. You know, like.
Right. That's true.
I mean,
if you said this and you tell me I love Imperial Guard, I go, I can tell. I can tell if this is what you chose.
If you are passionate about Imperial Guard, you love the Lehman Russ, or you better love the Lehman Russ because you're painting at least 10 of them.
Right. You're at least painting the base. Just cut the turret off. That portion there, you're painting that a lot.
Let's see. We got Lysander, the original. So here's some fun insider for you. Whenever I was first getting into Warhammer as a whole, I first went through and painted everything up as Ultramarines because that's what the box said, and I didn't know anything about painting. I didn't know anything about army building. While building that list, I figured out what I wanted, and I also read the original Space Marine novel, which was about Imperial Fists. So I was going to do a second army as Imperial Fist.
Okay.
One of the units that I wanted, even though it wasn't necessarily good, was the generic Chapter Master.
Okay.
And so I read, gosh almighty, I can't remember the Chapter Master's name at this point. It's something like
for them.
It's like Pew or Puh, or it's like Pugh, I think. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He said that they said that he had 2 Thunderhammers.
Okay.
So I literally bought 2 Lysanders for that hammer.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of the first early conversions I did.
Very cool.
Oh, geez, Nick. Okay, so we're getting ahead of ourselves. Sophie, good choice.
Yeah.
The only thing I have a complaint about the Blade Champion is that it's so removed from all the other Custode models.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily feel like it's part of the army. It feels like it almost feels like your one relative that came back from college for the weekend. Like
yeah. I'll give you that. All
right. And so now Nick, you're in trouble. Come on, Nick. The model wasn't even out when this came out. All right.
Right.
Technically not out, Nick. All right, you can't pick it because we couldn't pick it. All right.
What's your favorite model? Well, the model I was able to get, but the rest of you peons could not yet.
Everything for the last 40 years and 2 weeks has been shit. We've all been waiting for Taylor Verdra. All right. So then we have. Okay. So Emma, clearly. If you don't know who's face up here, where is he? James, Emma, and James. You two should need to get lunch or something because it's
apparently
Adam T. Okay, Adam T. All right, come on. It just came out. It's amazing. All right, we all know it's amazing.
Right. We all love it. We know.
It just came out. Don't be a chuck and pick that one. All right, just and again, okay, Ed. The Arvis lighter. The fuck is this thing? I know it recently came out,
but I couldn't even remember it. I forgot about this thing.
I don't know, man. It looks like something out of Aliens.
Yeah, something out of Aliens. Something maybe kind of out of Star Wars too. I could see.
It's too boxy for Star Wars.
I guess. I
can see it. It's on that. It's right on that danger zone of picking something too new. But you could tell this is going to be a model that's going to be.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't remember the Arvis later. It's a Forge-rolled model.
Oh, get out of here.
That's why I just decided
that.
I was like, I don't even remember seeing this thing. When did it come out? We're a Forge World model.
And
it costs $132.
Gotcha. You need to hang out with Adam L a little bit more for picking a Grimgore Ironhide. What the fuck is a Grimgore Ironhide? This thing's awesome.
It is. It really is. Simon Belcourt was a good choice, but Grimgore Ironhide.
That's fine.
Yes.
But again, this is what I think is funny. It's like the two what I feel like James Workshop, whenever James Workshop wrote, hey, have everyone pick an a model out of the last 40 years, blah, blah, blah. This is what he was talking about. And
Right.
both were there's things that are outside of orcs that this category falls in, you know, but, and Cypher, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so tired of the, chaos, they're falling, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got it. It's
right.
Hilarious, thanks. Ezekiel, Andy.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Okay.
That's a terrible model.
I mean, yes, they've done better posing and everything throughout the years, but
model.
All right, I'm not fighting you here. Not fighting you.
You went up to bunt and you got a strike.
We understand. We understand.
Noble, Tom, I'm pretty sure this is the same Tom as the last one, but I'll give it to you. That's interesting.
Yeah, definitely not a model I've looked at in a long time.
Yeah.
What's Princess Bride? What's his name? I can't remember the dude's name now. It's what the face looks like.
Oh, yeah.
In the
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's okay. Jeez, it's terrible.
The Lictor got an amazing
blow up. Yeah. Yeah. Looks great.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yep. Fair.
Yvrain. Yeah, I think it's a really cool model.
It is.
I think it really, again, this kind of goes with the Lord of Plagues. This really encapsulates what the army's about.
It does. Yeah, and I think the model has been out for almost 10 years now, too. So, fair enough choice. I know.
The new Mephiston, sure.
It's a really good retake on what was an old and very dated sculpt. So, I was okay with it.
Very dated. Oh, my God.
It was.
Yeah. Light of Eltharion. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish
we could see him more, honestly.
Right. I mean, our little mini Gotrek, where you can put him on the table and not feel like a goon. Some amazing engineering went into this. Yeah. Very well done.
Yeah.
Skaven Leader with Warplock Arquebus.
Heck yeah.
Going
old days.
This model is so old and so ugly that even with your team painting it, I don't know what I'm looking at.
It does take a second. I don't know what's going on with his face.
What is going on with the face? Is it infected? Is that chainmail?
I don't entirely know. I've got to click on it to make it bigger. I think that's a chainmail.
A koi.
Yeah.
Koi?
Guard. Yeah.
There's other ones you could pick, Gadge.
There were probably other good Skaven models out there.
I'm sure here's one on your list.
I obviously am a salamander person, but
Wait, you don't like that?
I mean, it's cool. It just feels dated nowadays. Really feels dated.
Well, I mean, that's true, but
and to be fair, this is about the model. If you can't paint that well,
that's true.
I don't think this model looks that good.
Just slap chop it.
Yeah, just slap chop it. That's how I'll get all the flames and everything looking right. Yeah.
That was you understood the assignment. Okay, Luke. All right. I don't know.
What's wrong? This is a good model.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
It's a pretty good model. It's very fun to paint. I'm bad at painting. You can make it look good, even if you're bad at painting. So it gets an A+ for me.
With this model for years now. So yeah. No, it is a good pick. It's an amazing pick. Again, the sculpting with the water, I don't think the water gets enough praise because, like you said, whenever I first saw this, I was like, that's going to be impossible.
That's what I thought too whenever I had to put one together and paint it. And I went, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Just start going to town with the dry brushing and getting an idea of I want it to be lighter down here.
I think that was you and I. You showed me your first pass and I just kind of gave you some tips on how to do some dry brushing.
Yeah.
And like the next time I saw it, it was amazing.
Yeah. No, this is one of those models. If you decide to sit down, take an extra 20 minutes,
Yeah.
you stop and you're like, I am a good painter. You're lying.
I'm the best painter in the world.
You're darn right.
All right, so let's. I think it's a little too hard to pick one. I would say pick. Can you pick a favorite old school model and new school model?
Old school model will be the hard one. So let me.
That's fine.
I don't have a lot of old school ones out there personally myself.
When did you start playing?
Fifth. I started playing fifth in 40K. So
what was your army?
It was basic, good old Space Marines. So
what'd you like? What drew you to Space Marine?
You mean other than it being one half of the starter box? My brother wanted the orcs.
That doesn't
right.
Well, where did you go from Space Marines then?
I played Space Marines for a long time, and then my second army was Imperial Guard. And I think the one thing that got me was there was an old priest model, and he just had a chainsword in one hand and a book in the other. Yeah, and he was just going. Yeah, you remember him with the two flags on his back? That was a model that like stands out as one I remember, just from all the games I'd played and everything.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's your old school pick right there.
Yeah. It's either that or Space Marine Scout Squad, because that's now an old school model. Now they've gotten rid of them. Yeah. I've got a lot of stories of a Space Marine Scout Squad doing things.
What about newer? Or are you just going to pick Achillean King? Huh?
No. Can't pick the Achillean King. If I'm going to go a newer model just based off of something that looks cool that you want. Does oh geez, I can't even remember his name now off the top of my head. AOS, the head dude of Chaos. Archeon, thank you. Archeon's just like an iconic model for me now. That unpainted just looks impressive.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't have Archeon on this list. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't have Archeon. We didn't have Selson Prime. We didn't have Bastion. We had nothing Stormcast.
Yeah, I could have seen Bastion. I felt like that was a pretty big leap in the modeling, honestly.
I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess my old school pick is probably going to be the old Rune Lord model.
Okay.
It was probably the first model that I painted that made me go, I think I can paint.
There you go.
It was also the first model where I said, painting eye holes? Fuck you. I will do.
I feel that. I feel that.
So that's where I started using. I started messing around with just trying to use flesh shade instead of trying to mess with skin tones, and because I always feel like no matter how much you thin the skin tones down, they're always kind of like gloopy.
It's because they've got too much of that white pigment in them. It gets it's bigger pigment, so it's tough to really smooth that out.
Right. So that's why I started using flesh shade, and then this was the first one where like their eyes on that is really, really, really small, to the point where even my smallest brush was too big, and so I just went in and just put Agrax right in
in that area.
And I showed it to a couple people. And then I said, "What'd you think of the eyes?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think about looking."
Wasn't even paying attention. Right. Yeah.
And I was like, and then that made me think about, of course, what else do you think about at that time of your life? But the Civil War, the Revolutionary War with the "don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes." So I don't want anyone getting close enough to see the whites of my eyes. So.
Right,
you won't see the whites of my
there we go.
eyes either. Moving on.
Perfect.
For new school, he's out of arm's reach, so I'm not going to get him. But Gulliman.
Okay. Yeah, that is. he's getting up there in age as far as models concerned. But yeah,
I
he's
absolutely love the model. It's probably my favorite painted model, and to this day, it makes me want to do an Ultramarines army again.
That's fair. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't blame you.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, October 13th. Typically, that was a Friday.
It was Friday the
Typically
13th.
a bad day, right?
Yeah.
Not for Stormcast players, because we found out that Liberators are potentially getting Thunderstrike armor sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be in Realm of Ruin. I
Right.
think that
So
helmet looks a little dumb, but that's easily remediable. And most of my Stormcast don't wear helmets anyways.
well, there you go.
So
Makes it easy.
is this going to be in the 4th edition starter box? I say yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Wouldn't be too surprising. I mean, obviously it will be Stormcast. It will be, who are they against?
Skaven. It's definitely Skaven at this point.
Skaven for the next one? Okay.
If it's not Skaven, I don't know, do something I don't want to do.
Uh-oh. Write a letter.
I will write a letter to Games Workshop telling him what a good job he does. That's
Right.
if it's not Skaven.
You were correct to not go with Skaven as the opposing army to the Stormcast in the latest box set.
So with that being said, like I said, I like the way this looks. I think it looks really cool. I think it's a little too close to Vindictors, because at that point it's just, instead of a spear, we gave you a hammer, and the helmet's a little different. But
I mean,
it gives me hope that the 4th edition box set is really just going to be a swan song to the
original models.
Warrior Brotherhood, and we'll get some new sculpts. Because again, I feel bad because there's some armies that have much older stuff, but
that could use,
with Stormcast every 3 years getting a brand new line of just awesome models, it just compiles how bad all the new stuff or the old stuff looks.
And it's harder too whenever it is the poster boy
This is
your
to be who your best looking models are.
Yeah. So you want them to be good looking, and somebody not go in there and be like, well, what happened that these guys' limbs seem okay and this guy's like real in there and squatted. So
what they could do is if they wanted to touch on end time stuff, they could bring back the Liberators in Old World. That's
There we go. Not going to happen, but
all right, so we got into the Warhammer preview. So back to October 14th. Scorpions and Scouts skirmish are Scorpions and Scouts skirmish above Savage Seas. All right, that sounds like
you got there.
It's like a Wheel of Fortune answer right there. So I guess this is how we're going to be releasing units now.
Apparently, this is it.
Because this doesn't really look like a kill team box that it looks like they released Striking Scorpions.
Yes, it seems like we got our update of the Striking Scorpions
and
a kill team box.
Right, and the Primaris. Like, yeah, I think they're fine.
Yeah.
I think the terrain is very lackluster.
It has been as of late, I feel like. But at least there's some terrain there, and it is actually usable for 40k. So
right, I don't know. But I'm really liking. How was it? This was, I think, the War Cry was where it was the two armies together, and then the terrain was separate.
Well, the first War Cry box, you could get the whole thing. It came with both.
Well, most recent.
The most recent one. Yeah, I think it was the armies were together, and you could just buy the terrain kit.
We're just one step away from the way it should be, where you just have the armies in separate and the terrain separate.
Right. Where these two boxes here, the Space Marines and the Striking Scorpions, are in their own box.
So again, if if I had the choice for like the Arbites, if I had a thing where I could choose just the Arbites box and the terrain, I probably would have picked it up.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
didn't want the other guys, so I was like, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. So then we got Imhotep, the Storm Lord, blah blah blah. The Necron thing, fine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think somewhere in
I mean,
here we got a couple. I think we got a couple rumor engines. I would like
might
to see
have
what rumor engines,
were attached to him. Yeah.
but he's fine. I don't care about Necron, so
Yeah. Yeah. So
fine.
you enjoyed it so much early on it. Yeah. It's all good.
Good. Hope you like it. Move on.
Yep.
So then we got probably the dumbest model I've seen.
Oh my word. I think we were all joking about it in the group chat.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
I was, and I wasn't even in the country whenever this model came out, and I started having a laugh.
First off,
Like,
hashtag exhaust dong. All right, that's
for one,
so,
from the front, this does not look correct for where you put your exhaust.
so I mean, like, okay, so as an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
which this whole army is also supposed to be,
Yes.
so what is that called whenever you have like a thing that you use to like increase weight and like, so if you wanted to pick up something that you couldn't normally, you get like a lever. Is a lever?
Just a lever. Yes.
Lever. So what happens when you just kind of stick a lever into the ground and then put a large amount of one way going force? What's going to happen to
It
that?
tends to wanna come back to rest on the ground. As it turns out.
I mean, I just want to see these guys on the battlefield with these giant stilts shooting what looks like, I don't know,
Pretty good size sniper
250
rifle.
cal
Like,
sniper rifles put together.
and it's lovely because we also got the scope from the 19, or not even 19, the 1800s, and threw it on there with that long glass scope too.
So I mean, he's just going to shoot and just.
And also, yeah, no, I also want to know how you convince this man, hey, you're going to go into surgery, we're going to cut you off the kneecaps, and we're just going to add 7 foot to you.
We're gonna give you 7 foot legs. Oh, okay, that sounds good. Like, boy,
I don't. Yep.
There.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're thinking on this one. Just, Baltharius, go home. You're drunk. That's. All right, into the 40K. We got Ionis Cryptborn, probably one of the coolest Stormcast models we've gotten in a while, which is saying something considering we keep getting bangers. Here, you know what? No, this is my favorite model in all 40 years.
You're allowed to do it. There you go. There you go. It was shown before the show started, so it's okay. That works.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
For people who don't remember, the original Relictor, the current only Lord Relictor model that we have, was actually originally supposed to be a named character, and this is what he, after he graduated Relictor school, that's what he became.
Yeah, he got very scary because, as it turns out, Sigmar, scary god. Just look at this guy and the humans that are on their way to go fight with him.
Yeah. So the model looks amazing.
Does.
And on this picture, which we'll get into in a little bit, we saw him pictured with 2 Stormdrake. So we knew that there was going to be some
interplay.
Then we got another AOS with what's his name again? Belthanos.
Yes.
Again, give me the Carnathy. Just got enough. But overall, I think it looks impressive. I don't know why they showed this one second, because it's nowhere near as impressive.
Right. This was the lead up to say, hey, we're in the iOS territory now, and then you should have knocked us out with the Ionis.
Right.
But
now I will say, we'll do a little bit of spoilers for later on in the show. Even though it's less impressive looking, it's a better mod. It's better rules.
oh,
better rules.
I haven't read them yet, so now I gotta
We'll get into it. You'll see.
Okay.
They're like inverses of each other. The Ionis has more interesting rules, more flair. This guy has no flair, no interest, just solid rules that change a lot of things. Like,
okay.
Then we got Dawnbringers Book 3 announced. It's okay. Yeah, great. We pre-ordered it.
There we go.
Then we got our Old World, where we were hoping for some more
an idea of when we're gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
We were hoping for something, and we got a little bit. So essentially, we got shown the Pegasus Knight, or the Lord Pegasus that was spoiled previously.
Yeah.
And so the rumors that had already appeared out, so I believe them fully at this point. I actually think we talked about them last month. Mm-hmm. Everything they're showing here, I think there's a picture near the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to be like one box set, yeah.
Right, so this is, well, they don't have a picture. So everything you see here is going to be in one box. Maybe not the Handmaiden. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it probably ends somewhere around the Peasant Bowman for some reason.
There's a picture somewhere.
I forget where it is.
It might be in this video, and I'm not going to play it because I don't want to have the audio go all over the place. But so basically, that's going to be your starter. Your starter box is going to be your army box, because they said no starter boxes. So this is your army box. It's going to have the rules in it. So if you want to play Bretonnians, there you go. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So then moving along to the 18th, I thought there was something else, but apparently not. But anyways, doesn't matter. So moving along, we finally got the last army revealed for Realm of Ruin. Again, this was also spoiled because someone took a picture of the back of the box where Tzeentch was already there, and we got Disciples of Tzeentch, which it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it. It's always either Kane or Nurgle every time. Or Kane. Khorne.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was surprised it wasn't just like generic chaos with Chaos Warrior and stuff. So, yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I'm glad to see Tzeentch getting a little bit of play. Again, not excited for the game since the beta. Maybe I'll give it a shot, but again, I was just hoping for Dawn of War 1.
Right. Just the reset. Right. Yeah.
And they went more Dawn of War 2. And they're not the same game, but it is, if you had to say, is it more 1 or 2? It's more 2.
Okay.
All right. Moving right along, October 23rd, Battle Force boxes. Boo!
Yeah.
So, here's what we got. So we got the Primordial Star Host, which is essentially half of the list that I wrote.
Right, that we tested out. Yeah.
So
what, you didn't have skinks in your list and everything else was here.
Those are the
that's right.
Yeah, those are the ones that popped up behind it. I really liked.
Yeah. Okay.
Even had the birds that came down that didn't do anything.
Yeah, they did.
On a 2-up.
Right. Of course you roll that one, buddy.
Several times.
But looks like cool box set. Really glad to see it's like all new models.
Yeah.
So
I would say this is definitely an A+.
Mm-hmm.
This is A+ material. This is what you want in a box. Again, in order for me to consider it a good box, there's two things that you basically need. One, is it good for starting an army? And two, is it good for continuing an army? I.e., what if I get 2 of these boxes?
Right. What if I already own some of this? Yeah.
So, like, for the next one, the Praetorian Spearhead, what if I get 2 of these? Well, now you're going to have 8 too many of the Morghast.
Right. Yeah.
But overall, I'm going to say the Morghast, I feel like if you wanted to play them, you could. They're just not hyper competitive.
Right. They've been fighting to make them playable
Right.
lately.
You're going to have yourself 20 of the guard, which
You want
you want them.
yeah.
You want the riders. The only thing
Yeah.
you really don't need is you don't need 2 of the
The harvester. Yeah.
No, I would say even having 2 harvesters, you typically only want to bring 1. But
Right.
if you
You
like,
could make a list that runs
you,
2.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you had this list and you had 2, you could run 2. The only thing you wouldn't want 2 of is the main hero guy in the front.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The Arch Cavalier is probably correct.
War Horde. Oh yeah, I'll give that one probably B. Probably give that a B.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Praetorian Spearhead. Onto the War Horde of Eternus.
I forget what do we got in here.
So we have
great.
Eternus,
What?
3 Ogroids, 5 Chaos Knights, 5 Chaos Chosen, 10 Chaos Warriors, and then instead of Eternus, you could do a Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount.
Okay.
I gotta say, this is kind of the same thing. I gotta give this an A plus 2, as much as I don't want to see people playing Slaves of Darkness.
I mean, definitely a need chosen. So
Yeah, I mean, 10 chosen, 10 riders are things you are, or I'm sorry, 20 warriors, 10 chosen, 10 knights. You're going to see those all over the place.
Right. Yeah. If you had 2 boxes of this, yeah. I'm not entirely certain about the Ogrids, but
yeah, again, like I said, I think the Ogrids would, if you were
starting,
if you were going,
it'd be all right.
Mom, I want to play Age of Sigmar, and she'd get you this.
It'll work.
Love those Ogrids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, your first growing experience is going to be putting the Ogrids back on the shelf.
Right. Yes.
And then 20 years from now, figuring a way out to still shove them into lists. That's
Mm-hmm.
And then last we have the Vengorian Court.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think this one's probably a C.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so bats are lackluster. I have a unit of bats just because the point squeeze is so bad that I'm running out of things to put in the list.
Right.
But they're probably they're usable. The wolves are usable.
Mm-hmm.
The skeletons are usable.
Right.
The blood knights are not usable, and the Vengorian Lord is pretty lackluster. And if you do want to bring one, you're only going to want to bring one. So
right. Yeah.
For me, it's a B.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I wouldn't say it's as far as. Is it a C? This might be a C plus.
It's one of those things I think the army doesn't help the box out.
Right. So C plus. But on the other hand, we got our 40K box sets.
Yeah.
I'm so out of the loop with 40K at this point. I'm just going to be taking wild guesses, and I can be wrong. But,
let's just look them over and enjoy them.
So, Defenders of the Ancestors, they are really pushing Votan. I don't know if they just didn't
not enough
sell as
people
well or what. But this box set is from the edition I watched, or from the edition I was involved with. This is a very poor box set, just for the simple fact that the Terminators were not super viable. I've watched a couple bat reps, and I haven't really seen too many of these being taken. But with that being said, the one thing that is taken a lot of is the vehicles.
Right. So good thing there's 2 in the box. So
the big one and the, which again, I'm still saying that the Land Fortress should have been
just terrifying to see.
Just put a 2 exponent next to that, and that's what we should have got. Like, it should have been
a solid, terrifying thing to see.
With that being said, this is probably better just because it's more usable. When you start getting a little bit bigger than that, then where the hell do you put it on the table? But Land Fortress, not RV.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I'll put that one to B. Put it at B. I think.
Okay.
You think that's agreeable?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
All right. So we got B Snaga Stampede. So this one definitely breaks buying 2.
You think it breaks buying 2?
I think buying 2 of these would be a big mistake because there's so many big models.
I guess. I feel like you're going to want 6 of the, what is it, the 3-man squig boys whose names I can never remember nowadays. The beast snaggers.
Well, maybe.
The hero, yeah, you only probably want 1.
Yeah,
all the little dudes, you definitely want 20.
All this on the left here?
Is that
2 units? Is that 1 unit?
That's 1 unit there. That's 1 unit. That is
probably not going to be 2 of those.
Yeah, I'm thinking you probably don't need 2 of that thing. Yeah.
Well, I think it could be another. I'm gonna
That's
go
generous
against.
here.
I'm gonna go against what my outline was. I'm gonna, despite not potentially, since needing 2 boxes would be up for debate, I'm still gonna put this at a B+.
Okay.
Acadian Defense Force, A+. A+. 2 tanks, bunch of dudes.
I mean, yeah.
What's the army?
Yeah.
The army's a bunch of tanks and a bunch of dudes. So
it kind of does what it needs to. Yeah.
I mean,
fair enough.
Boom. What more do you need? Space Marine Spearhead. I don't know how I feel about it.
So I still haven't decided how I feel about jump pack intercessors to start with. So, yeah, they needed to be there. I don't know if I'm ever going to take them. I'm glad that there is a captain with a jump pack. I am kind of confused. I haven't checked. I think it's a Primaris captain with a jump pack. I certainly hope so. I have never seen a soul take the ATV. And if you're building to take the bikes, they're worth it. So I don't know yet. It's cool, but I don't know.
Are we going to go?
If you're ever going to need jump pack intercessors or want them.
We're going to D? We're going to D?
I don't know if we're going to D it because I don't know enough about it.
We're going D. D, do better.
Done.
See me after class. All right.
There we go.
Onslaught Swarm. I don't know if you need 2. Well, I guess you could make that
Norn emissary with a winged hive tyrant.
And you can do that as a hive tyrant or swarm lord.
Right. You at least have multiple things you can make.
I think this is this might be the buy. No, it almost was the buy. Well, okay.
Hit me with it.
This gets the out of all the bundles, AOS and the other. This gets the top double buy award. So this is the best out of all the boxes to buy 2 of.
Okay.
The next one gets the best box to buy single.
Yeah. The Exalted of the Red Angel. Yeah, that's fair. If never buy 2 of this box.
No, do not.
But the 1 is worth it. Yeah.
I want this box.
I understand.
Everything awesome. And again, that has to be almost 1,500 points right there. I mean, I think Angron's.
I don't know if it's 1,500. Is he almost 1,000? Really? I missed something there. Jeez. I mean, okay.
Look how big he is. He has to be at least 800 points minimum.
This isn't Age of Sigmar. I think a lot of their Primarchs and things are like 400 points. So
I don't know about that. Hold on, let's see.
Yeah, let's just pull up the app and make it. Are you still paying for the app?
Yes. It was due. I still have it downloaded. Was the real thing?
Okay.
The World Eaters.
Yeah, World Eaters.
Let's see. Data sheets. Angron coming in at. What the hell, man?
Are you on the free version? Because I don't think they give you them points in the free one.
You're kidding me, man. What?
Gotta pay if you want to see the points.
GW. Really? Just Just,
Look, just
get,
be happy
get
that
a,
we live in Age of Sigmar world.
God almighty. How does this company stay afloat?
Oh,
All right, October 23rd, going back to Ionis. So we're talking now about his
his actual rules.
his Army of Renown, where it's only Draconif,
Hmm.
which is a real rough one.
It is. It
Because
is.
here's what Draconif is. Him,
Hmm.
Stormguard,
Hmm.
Stormguard leader,
Yep.
what's his name? Krondis
Yes. Yep.
and Karazai. The brother.
Paladins on little drakes. Okay.
The Scar guy. So like no, so you don't even get the riders like the fulminators and such.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I love how they spent a year and a half trying to get dragons nerfed into the ground,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, you know what we need to do? We need to make them better.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had a lot of people that bought like half the dragon army.
Yeah. And then I got
We got some sales we can complete yet.
So we'll get into the rules here. I am like,
It'd be all right.
This
It'd be all
box
right.
set. This box set. So this guy who's
Mhm.
big but not end all be all.
Yeah.
Him and two little dragon guys, $170 US.
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been a bit of a mistake, honestly.
We're getting to the point where my discount is where the prices should be.
I believe that. I believe that.
Like,
Yeah, it's a problem because you're always like, I want to get a new friend into the game,
right.
and then you're like,
Hey, friend,
okay,
$1,200 to get that army started. What do you think?
exactly. I
Am I
saw
your
a
friend
meme.
now?
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day that was like, it's okay, man. You just got to get in the game. Well, how much in it? Well, if you want to go to a tournament with me sometime, it's going to cost you like $700 to start. To start? Yeah, and then you got to paint it all yet too.
Yeah. I memean, again, like one of the it's ridiculous. One of the cheapest armies you can get into this day is the Gargants, Sons of Behemoth, for 4 boxes, and each box is now $200. So you're looking at like $800 buy-in. Like,
yeah,
GW, you gotta. We're getting back to where we were whenever AOS came out, where prices were so ludicrous that their sales started plummeting.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it was really weird. I saw a clickbait article. Well, someone posted a clickbait article that I read the title of and did not read the article because said article was from Spiky Bits.
I was going to ask you if it was from Spiky Bits when you said a clickbait article, but let's go.
Yeah. If it's a clickbait article, it's from Spiky Bits. But I don't go to Spiky Bits because that is internet cancer, is what that website is. So it was saying how their stock has plummeted drastically. And no, it's just back to where it was pre-edition high.
Right. And I think the pandemic helped them a lot.
Absolutely. So here's what's funny. So I was looking at their stock.
Sure.
So their stock for 10th edition, of course, spiked. But that spike did not compare to the spike the same time the year before, which dwarfed the 10th edition spike. Do you want to know what came out that spike?
Hit me with it.
The second wave of contrast paint.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I literally went through, like, I had to go back and look at what came out in July of 2021.
Right. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. But anyways, let's take a look at his war scroll.
Yeah.
Because you said you have not read Ionis yet.
I have not. No. So this is a first look.
He is on a 100 millimeter base,
Okay.
400 points, which I'll tell you right up now is ludicrous.
Oh.
4 points is insanity. I would say
Okay.
if you wanted to penalize someone for bringing him, 350.
Okay. Okay. As somebody whose turtle finally made it to 400 points where it belonged all to begin with, I understand.
Again, and I'll tell you the reason why I say 350 for him. In other art, like if this was Cities of Sigmar, I could understand 400 points. But here we're talking about, okay, here's one of my 3 battle line, and it's already costing me almost 400 points by itself.
Right.
So everything in this is expensive, and we suffer for bodies. So like,
Gotcha.
that's
true.
Your heroes can afford to be a little cheaper. However, there is one good thing. If you look through the keywords, one thing you will not find is a chamber keyword. So he can go in any army that you would like. And that is because in the narrative, he left the Hammers of Sigmar.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So, here we go. 16 wounds. Cool. Movement starts at 14. Goes down to 8. Cool. Save up 3. I would have liked 2, but okay.
Yeah.
So first, he has a range attack, 12 inches. Like a little longer, but that's fine. 9 attacks.
Yeah.
Cool. 3s, 2 rend, 1 damage. Okay, fine. But we'll get down into some rules lower below.
I was going to say, I see something going on down below.
Pretty cool. So, then we got for his weapons. We got a Soul Breaker, 1 inch. Okay. Single model.
Look,
so
that mace doesn't reach. It's okay.
Right. So we got 4 attacks. Cool. 3s, rend 1, damage 2. All right.
Yeah.
Why that couldn't be rend 2? I don't know.
It's the basic Stormcast hero profile right there.
This is a named hero who's been traveling around.
Look, his dragon is actually the named hero. He's just there. Okay.
Which, by the way, as a quick aside, there is a Dawnbringer article, a story about these two just like hanging out. Highly recommend the read. It was very good.
I'll have to go find it after this. Good.
So anyway, with 3s and 3s, we always know that means 1 or 2 attacks are going to land with a 1-up save. That means with a rend 1, they're going to save it, so no damage. For the Ancient Claws, you start off at 5. That's a little low. I would have liked to have seen that be a 6. But 3s, rend 2 damage. Now we're talking about probably getting 2 attacks through, if not 3. So now we're looking at 6 damage. Time Worn Fangs, 3 inch. I guess the bite makes sense, but
yeah, the bite makes sense.
2 attacks, 3s, starting off rend 3 damage. Okay. So now since there's 2 attacks, we know neither one of these are ever going to go through. So
now, okay, for the rest of us who can hit things, we'll get 1
I'm guaranteeing you, if this was 3 attacks, all right, you're getting 1 or 2 through. 2 attacks, maybe 1 you'll get through a game. So,
right, 1. You'll get 1.
So I would say you could probably expect to get maybe 10 damage.
Oh, depending on the save, I was going to say more like 7 damage. But sure.
So he's not a huge...
Without the ranged attack yet, because we haven't actually gone over it.
So he's not a damage dealer. If you get him into some chaff, you get him into another hero...
He'll tear it apart, yeah. Depending on the hero. Yep. Chaff, he would.
So he has fly, no surprise there. So here is the addendum to the missile weapon, the Spirit Scouring Flames. Each time a wound caused by an attack made with the Spirit Scouring Flame is allocated to an enemy unit, that enemy or that unit is soul burned.
Okay.
At the end of each hero phase, not my hero phase, not your hero phase, each. Roll a die for each soul burned unit. If the roll is equal to or less than the number of the current battle round, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So this is awesome to put on a hero early in the game.
Yeah. So it's a cool little idea for if you're just like plinking a unit, but like you want to kill something.
Right.
You don't want to just like
Right. Yes.
I kind of half-assed it and maybe end a game they die.
Listen, I think this is perfect for pagan little heroes. Oh,
right.
Sec here. All right. So I think he is really good at putting those. The problem is the 12 inches, but I guess
Right. Yeah.
if you're within 12 inches, then you don't have to worry about lookout. I mean, you have to worry about lookout, sir. But at the same time,
Right. Yeah.
With that being said,
true.
that's why I think this should have been 2s and 3s or 2s and 2s.
Okay.
And I don't think you're going to get anyone going, oh, it's so broken, so OP. Anyways, the rest of it basically says whenever you heal wounds on a unit that is soul burned, you can choose to either heal wounds or get rid of soul burn.
Okay. Yeah. They've done that for different things like, what is it? Nurgle's Rotten. That's fine.
So then we have Draconic Horror. Honestly, I think this is kind of one of the reasons why you take them.
Okay.
12-inch deny, rally, and inspiring presence.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, stopping inspiring presence pretty big. Pretty big.
Yeah. And again, it's not wholly within, it's just partially within.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Scrying Intent. Subtract 1 from attack characteristics of melee weapons that target this unit to a minimum of 1.
Okay. So it has times it will be great and times it should be like, well, it's not going to really do a lot, but it's a cool little idea. Messing with the attacks characteristic, yeah.
Yeah, if you bring him, you're never going 5-0. I think he slots pretty close to the same role as Bastion does, where if you want to have fun, you can bring him. You don't need to bring him.
Right. Yeah. I'll be interested to see.
So we have Arch Relictor. He can do prayers. Pretty rare.
Yeah. Very.
Now, the problem is he's a named character, so you can't give him any generics.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it'd be nice to get cursed, but yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things is it's like curse would be amazing in a Stormcast army. You don't get that many of attacks.
Right.
But there's a lot of things where if you could just hit it, you could just get something else besides the extra attacks. Now, again, the Vindictors do already mortal wounds on 6s, but you have plenty of other things.
Yeah. Something like instead of taking them, suddenly you're taking Sequitors or regular Liberators and they're getting that. That'd be very nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. So then let's see. What else we got? Oh, so you get to choose, by the way, also. So you can choose if you only do one prayer, auto cast. Yeah.
Okay.
Automatically to 6. If it's 2, you roll like normal. And then you can, at the start of the enemy hero phase, you can pick one endless spell or invocation within 12 inches of the unit and roll a die. And on a 2+, get rid of it.
That's pretty big because if you're doing it at the start of the enemy hero phase, they cannot cast it then.
Right.
So,
now,
pretty good.
Again, what's funny is like you have all, like this war scroll is packed.
Right. We're keeping reading still. Yeah.
But I would love to see spoilers for the last ability, which is just his prayer. There's no ward on this list.
Right. A 5-up ward would be nice.
If he had a 5-up ward and the ability to attempt unbind, if he had 2 unbind, fuck, man.
He might just become a staple. Yeah.
A 2 unbind with the denying rally, inspiring presence, and a 5-up ward, -1 attack. Now all of a sudden, I'm willing to pay 400 points. I don't even care what this prayer does.
Yeah.
So then the prayer here, Lightning Tempest. Lightning Tempest is a prayer that has an answer value of 3 and a range of 18. If answered, pick
Okay.
one enemy unit within range. The unit is struck by lightning and suffers D3 mortal wounds. Then roll a die on a 1 to 2. The Tempest clears and the sequence ends. On a 3 plus, pick one other enemy unit within 3 inches of that unit, and they also get D3. And you keep rolling that until you've done everyone within 3 inches, and there's no one you can't redo somebody.
Okay, so kind of like a chain lightning effect
Yes.
then. Very cool. Yeah.
I think he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't think he's competitive.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I struggle to see what he's exactly going to do.
Right.
First points.
You're putting 400 points.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
To do what exactly?
2 prayers. You're paying a lot for 2 prayers that can move. At the end of the day.
Yeah, very underwhelming. Again, that's why I said 350 tops.
I can see it. I forget right now. What is the basic hero dragon dude at for points?
3.
Let's have a look. Order Stormcast.
Are you talking about?
Just a Knight Draconis. That's it. So that's 300 points for a Knight Draconis.
Right. And on top of that, the Knight Draconis has interaction with
the rest of the dragons, yeah.
And can actually do about the same damage, if not a little more. So, like I said, extra 50 points, that's where I am.
I can see it. Yeah, I could see an extra 50 points. Maybe it won't take too long before they come back through and repoint him down a little bit. But I don't think he needs to come down too much. 350 might be right.
Yeah. And then real quick here, one thing that his little Army of Renown is going to be doing is they're going to be getting 2 new monstrous rampages.
Oh, okay.
Stun. Pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this unit, roll a die. On a 3 plus, subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made by that unit in the following combat phase. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
I love -1 wound because there's jack shit most people can do anything about it.
Right.
Then you also have impact tremors, where you pick one enemy unit within 3 inches and roll a die. On a 3 plus, in the following combat phase, models in that unit can only pile in 1 inch, which I think is going to be really good for Karazai, because you can hit the edge,
barely hit a big unit and make sure you don't get retaliated on. Or if somebody just barely makes it to you in a charge, and you're just like, cool, bud, you're not going to hit me with it all, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually like these more than I like that Wolf Scroll.
Right. It might help out the all dragon list a little bit better, just to have enough monstrous rampages that each unit could use a monstrous rampage.
Yeah,
would be nice. So
moving along to Belthanos.
Yeah.
So his Army of Renown, surprise, surprise, is all about the Bug Riders and the Kurnoth Hunters.
Right.
So he adds a little chart.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing. All right.
And so essentially, let me see where it boils down to. Add up the number of chords you receive and consult the Hunting Harmony table to see which effects will apply to your army for that battle round. I forget exactly. There's a list somewhere. Oh, right above it.
There we go. Right above.
You get these if Balthanos is on the battlefield.
Cool.
For each unit wholly within the same large quarter of the battlefield as the quarry, which is basically you choose like a grudged unit.
Right.
And then for each quarry destroyed during the battle. So you destroy a quarry, you pick a new quarry.
Right. Yep. All right.
And so then you get these. There's 4 abilities, and they all, like if you get to 5, you get 1, 2, and 3 all at the same time. So
okay.
Step 1, add 1 to run charge rolls for friendly units wholly within the same large quarter of the battlefield as the quarry.
All right.
Add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target an enemy unit wholly within the same large quarter as the battlefield as the quarry, which is only going to promote your opponent to go, he's the quarry? Well, so long, bud.
Right. I'm going to run him across the table and into his own little corner.
But it keeps going up. Add 1 to attack characteristics of melee weapons used by friendly units while they are within 3 inches of the quarry.
That quarry is going to die.
If someone says that's my quarry, you isolate the tar out of that thing.
Right. You just say, I'm sorry, bro. I appreciate it. But, right. Your service has been appreciated.
Here's
You're about to die.
Later.
Yeah.
So we then for the final one, while a friendly unit is wholly within the same large quarter of the battlefield as the quarry, it is eligible to fight in the combat phase if it is within 6 inches of the quarry instead of 3 inches and compile in an extra 3 inches. Why can't you just say all units get 6-inch pile in while within the same large quarter?
Because it's only if it's eligible to fight that quarry.
If you only give a 6-inch pile, well, no.
Yeah.
While it's within the same large quarter of the battlefield as the quarry. So if you are piling in, you can pile in 6 instead of 3.
You are eligible to fight in the combat phase if it is within 6 inches of the quarry instead of 3 inches. Okay.
Yeah.
So, strange.
I see that.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you only get to pile in the extra if you're close to the quarry, even if you are in that stable quarter.
All right. So let's take a look at this guy. So, like I said, much less, because like I think Ionis had a lot of neat rules.
Mm-hmm.
You can see here right off the bat, we don't have a lot of neat rules.
Okay. Yeah, this is a shorter book. Yep.
So we got 14 wounds, 12-inch ring, 12-inch move, 3 up save, 9 bravery. Not that matters.
No.
So pretty close. We were just down 2 wounds.
And 2-inch movement at the start.
Correct.
For what it matters.
Correct. And that does not degrade, so can't go wrong there. So we start off with his glaive, 4 attacks, 2s, 3s, rend 3 damage. So we're looking at basically the dragon.
I mean, yeah, the 2s to hit though, definitely pretty good to have that.
On top of that,
yeah.
So that's pretty good. Again, not a huge damage dealer. We have the bug then gets to attack, 4 attacks, 4s, 3s, 2 rend, and then the damage starts off at 4 and goes down. So here's the thing. Any singular hit that you get through, your opponent is going to oof.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
You're not going to
when the turtle comes flopping in with the 4 damage weapon, it scares people.
After you miss, after you whiff with all 4 attacks in the glaive and then hit with 3 of the mandible ones.
Right. Someone's going to get real sad real quick. Yeah.
So here you go. So first you have Nature Etheric, where in your hero phase you pick 1 terrain feature within 6 units or 6 inches of this unit and roll a die on a 3+. Pick 1 scenery rule. If it already has a scenery rule, replace it.
Okay.
That terrain feature is also considered to be an overgrown terrain feature.
It's pretty big, actually, for this army.
Right.
And the fact that you can just say, hey, I needed the extra casting, so that's what's there now. Or I would like a 6 upward for my guys.
That's just an ability. In your hero
That's
phase,
just a thing he does. Yes. Even better.
So then what you could do is teleport him around. So I want your shit to all be deadly. Oh, I don't like how you're using that arcane. That's now deadly.
I like it.
5 up ward.
Solid.
Krenathi Warhorn. Friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within range of this ability can attempt to charge even if they ran in the same turn. So, near army-wide... Well, no, this is army-wide.
Yeah, 18-inch bubbles. Pretty big. Yep. Hard to mess up.
Run and charge. Insane.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
The Unending Hunt. You can use this command ability at the start of your movement phase. The unit that receives this command must be a friendly Sylvaneth unit. That unit can retreat and still charge later in this turn. If something, I forget what it is. There is something that works on, but like specifically just to pull out charge to charge back in.
Right. Yeah.
I think something does impact. It might be the bugs, but otherwise, just going. I fought that enough. I'll go and fight that other thing.
Right, and just leaving the tar pit unit your opponent wanted you to fight and going somewhere else is always good.
So again, game changer.
Yeah, I like him, especially here at those 360 points.
360 points.
So unlike the last model we just looked at, expect to see a lot of this guy.
Yeah, you will be seeing this guy.
Look, I just sat here and I reread his War Scroll name. They just tried to put Thanos in Age of Sigmar. I'm just saying. We just added 3 letters at the start.
Yeah, just Bell Thanos. That's it.
We said Bellicor and Thanos had a baby.
So this guy is A+. He's awesome.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
I mean, so you played against a Tree Lord army.
Yes, I have,
and I did not have a good time.
I mean, I had a good time, good opponent.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, but like very hard army to fight if somebody knows what they're doing.
That army could run and charge.
That's awesome. Like, yeah, this has a home in that army. I feel like this probably has a home in most anything that just is in Sylvaneth right now. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's hard to say no to.
One of the things
just to run him.
So the way I set up my army was kind of based around Alariel. If I take out Alariel and put him in her place, I can still add like 2 units or reinforce 2 units of Kurnoth Hunters.
Things that sound like the correct option.
Right. Right? Just insanity. This thing is so much better than Alariel.
I'm excited for this model and like all the Sylvaneth players out there. Like the people who are dedicated to Sylvaneth are good with the army.
Yeah.
And this is just going to help them. Honestly, I feel like, I mean, somebody might be able to prove me wrong as to why he just doesn't line up with what the army wants to do, but he's a solid damage dealer and still just does good things for the army in the background instead of just being a big beat stick.
Yeah.
So I like it.
All right. So moving along to October 26th, we have our Age of Sigmar Meta Watch.
Yeah.
Gotta say, I'm not sure how much I'm believing these numbers.
So, just from some other casts and stuff I've been paying attention to, yeah, Okiark Bone Reapers definitely been at the top.
They're up there. I don't know what happened to Flesh Eater Courts. Like, is it just people are excited for the Battle Tome, or was there some sort of change that made people pull them out and dust them off?
I'm not entirely certain what that change is. I have heard that they're a good army lately from multiple people, but like to tell you what it was that changed, I wish I could, but I don't have the answer for you right now.
Like, I don't.
Maybe there were some points changes back a little while ago that I forgot about. Maybe.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but your Idneth has crept up to 54%.
I mean, look, the army that the last big tournament I went to, getting closer to a year from now than I like to admit, was Brewhammer. That list has gained 200 plus points. Yeah. It better get better, a little bit better whenever you're starting to do that, right? So
yeah, so
it needed it.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at here, I think Git seems a little low. Stormcast seems a little high. Beast of Chaos seems a little low. Lumina feels a little low. Slaves of Darkness has to only be because of player base, like how many people are playing them. Every tournament player I have played with Slaves of Darkness has been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, if someone knows what they're doing and just wants to do well as slaves, they have a build. You do half decent with it. It's okay.
Well, no, I'm not talking about like that. Like, I mean, just have you played against a good despoilers list?
Oh yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's gonna wreck your face.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the so here you have despoilers. You have Bellicor. You have
a lot of ways the army.
Like,
yeah,
it is such a devastating.
It's a good book because you actually have the ability to play what you want and it still be good.
Right. Except for Demon Princes.
True. Very true. And sad.
Very sad.
I'll be honest, the Night Haunt thing kind of surprises me that's so low.
I think Night Haunt has the same thing. I think there's more going on to that number than just the army needs help, because I think new players come in, they see the last starter set,
and it's a cheap army to get into as well.
Cheap army to get into, little contrast, wham bam, you got 2,000 points on the table.
Right. Yeah, just because I'm seeing Cruel Boys ranked higher, and I'm going, there's a Cruel Boys build, so maybe that's just those guys.
Good on you for doing that. I've never lost to Cruel Boys, but I have lost to Night Haunt.
Fair enough. Yep.
Skaven, I'm surprised to see that low. Like, I know they're not doing well, but I didn't think the book was that bad.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I'm starting to wonder if the addition is part of that, because I'm also seeing Fire Slayers down there, and I'm thinking it's the addition doing that to them.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, I knew Fire Slayers. So the second we moved away from the Magma Droths,
right,
I knew for a fact that armor was going to sink like a rock, because they just can't exist in this current GHB.
No, they're in a terrible spot. I agree with that completely.
So, like, you've gotten rid of all the GHB buffs, and now this is the army just laid bare of, like, hey, this is what the 3rd edition book is actually.
Right, yeah.
And this is why whenever the book came out and I judged it as poorly as I did, that's because I knew it was going to be here.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Just like,
on the same... Go ahead.
I don't know how KO's up at 57%.
Right. And to be fair, Khorne, I'm also kind of in a weird spot. Everyone's going to say, hey, I thought that's the anti-magic army, but like it really isn't. It doesn't have these big stops to it for magic anymore. So it's just like a good combat army is really all it is.
I think the problem is with where Khorne is at this point. I think Khorne is literally just the people that love the army.
You're probably correct. A lot of people who had to step away from it for years because it was actual hot garbage and are now coming back because there's a way to play it, and they're probably dedicating themselves to it. Right. So probably what it is.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is, like, if you just read the battle tome, it doesn't read as very impressive.
Right. There's a little tricks here and there, some that they've had to patch, but yeah.
It's a very techie book that requires a very techie person to play.
Right.
But whenever you get the people that know when to pull the buffs, when to pull the summons, you have someone that you're like, how did this battle tome get printed this way? I don't know what to do with this. Like,
yeah.
But like I said, I mean, I think Brad will be happy to see Bone Splitters back on the list.
Yeah, and I was sitting here looking at that going, they're like 3 people that are crazy enough to still be playing that, and their casters are enjoying a nice little buff in the edition. So, okay, all right, fine. I feel really bad for the Ironjawz people, especially because whenever they revealed those models not too long ago, almost everyone on the planet said, I want to play Ironjawz. Let's be honest.
And again, though, like, this is one of the ones where whenever I saw that list, whenever I saw the new War Scrolls,
right,
and everyone was going crazy over them,
Right. We said we don't think they do a whole lot.
Like, I don't see it. Like, I see some potential, but I don't see it. Now, I don't think that number.
I don't think they've hit.
Right. I don't think. But at the same time, I don't think the models are big enough to pull that number up.
Not a lot. No.
I do think that is a little low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But again, I think that's probably people that are bringing brutes. And it's like...
Right. That's the people that are having fun, enjoying themselves. And then there's the people who, this is the tuned list. It does one thing. If you can't stop the one thing, we're done.
Yeah, and I think this actually goes for as grumbly and negative I've been for the past couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were to take away this suboptimal GHB.
Okay.
And this just shows you kind of where the battle tomes actually lie. I think this actually does a pretty good job of showing you where the battle tomes are. Now again, Bone Reapers, and that's one thing that's interesting. Is like Bone Reapers, I guess they're getting a decent amount out of the spell casting because they have enough buffs, but like how Seraphon's only at 53%, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of people relearning Seraphon right now. And I feel like probably, especially the new models, it probably got a huge injection of new players to that base.
As well.
So it's probably pulling that number down a little bit.
That is definitely not a push forward army.
Yeah.
But, like Slaanesh, I'm shocked Slaanesh isn't higher. It has a decent amount of casting and decent amount of, like, honestly, in my opinion, Slaanesh does what KO does, but better. You can have more effective shooting at longer range, doing more damage, and you can just send stuff back in.
I think the difficult bit for Slaanesh is that it is much more of a paper army than the KO is, and its movement's worse. So it's one of those things that I can see how a Slaanesh player, if they get the turn order wrong for the upcoming turn and they think they're going to win it, and they pushed a little bit too far, suddenly they roll the dice, go, "Oh, I didn't win the turn."
Yeah.
And I don't know if the army can kind of hold up to that too well.
I'm glad Nurgle's where I think it is, where it actually should be on the list.
Yeah, Nurgle is where every army should be on this list.
Saying,
to be fair,
looking at the battle tome, this is where I felt that it should be. It should be right at that 50% mark. I think it's in a really good place. I think the only problem it really has is the Blight Kings need a little bit. I think if you literally just put this is, I think, the one place where points could fix it. Just raise the flies, lower the Blight Kings, and you have yourself a good book.
I mean, or are we looking at this 50% going, this is the standard that everyone else needs to adjust their points to as well?
Again, I think the only issue that I have is you could just say Nurgle is essentially the half that are taking flies are winning and the half that are taking Blight Kings are not. Okay. So make us split the army a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking.
Fair enough.
Oh, that's one thing we didn't get that I forgot to touch on. So during the reveals for the old world, one of the things that they said was that it's going to be, they didn't. The one thing I wanted was just a friggin' release date.
Right. Yep.
And I think it was is where they said.
Early 24 or something. It was
like one of our first releases in 2024. So I thought, I was like, oh, maybe that means this will be the January release.
Yeah.
Which at this point, I have a feeling that the January release is going to be Flesh Eaters.
I feel like whatever the January release is, I expect it to be small just because it's the post-holiday season one.
Yeah.
And normally they're kind of like, hey, we all also were off drinking and having a good time in December. We're back now. Here's the small release. All right, February. Here we go.
But yeah, so
So
that was one of the things. If you didn't see it or hear it, the official GW Warhammer Twitter or X
yeah,
or whatever the hell it is posted Old World February 2024. Here we come, or something like that. I might still have it on my phone.
yeah, and then it got promptly taken down,
Right, it
and
immediately got taken
somebody
down.
was slapped in a back alley somewhere.
Yeah, post removed. Warhammer official. This was be ready for February 2024 hashtag Warhammer community, and there's a picture of the old world.
There we go.
So sorry, my camera's flipped, but just trust me. That's
Well,
why I read it for you.
look. For one, if you're going to start showing us all that, you need to go back to dark mode over there, old man. We don't need the bright light in our faces.
That's
okay.
why I play Paladin a lot. So
That explains things. It explains things.
So then finally we have Old World Almanac, your first look at the rules. I have not read this yet, so we're going to do a little live read here.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's see here. Old World is near release in early 2024. February.
Oops.
That would be hilarious if they just put cough February cough.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just admit to it. At this point, everyone who cares got to see that post. Like, it's okay.
Holy cow, guys. Like, you really have. All right. So it looks like we're going to have our game structure here. Okay. So this is going to be interesting. So Warhammer the Old World is a new game designed from the ground up to simulate large regiments meeting in combat as volleys of arrows and artillery shoots soar overhead and cavalry, wizards, blah, 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 blah. So this basically, here's how the game's
huge. Yep.
So we have strategy phase. During the strategy phase, the active player attempts to cast enhancements or hex spells and make use of certain special rules before attempting to rally any fleeing units, which is interesting. Didn't we have a article saying spells were be integrated into
every phase?
Oh, I guess.
Is that what you're saying?
I guess.
Yeah, because right now we're just doing enhancements or hexes, so things that could affect our later phases. Sure. So we're okay.
All right. Movement phase. Okay, so we do that, and then we move.
We declare charges. Yeah.
It looks like there's also spells as well. Clairvoyance spells. I think it's interesting that we're going to have categories of spells.
I mean, we kind of did in the past. I feel like clairvoyance is one of the ones where they're calling it something strange.
I mean, it's basically like this is where you'll cast a spell to move in your opponent's turn.
Right. Yeah.
Like that. So that's interesting. Again, I'm glad it's not going to be like this spell cast in this time or this spell cast in this. It's just going to be like clairvoyance.
Right, you have the tag, and okay, I know where that tag gets cast. Yeah.
Shooting phase. That's where you shoot things and do magic missiles and vortexes and whatnot. Then the combat phase.
Sure.
Okay, so nice and simple. So it looks like they're going to tie the fleeing in with combat phase.
Yep.
So that's fine. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Strategy phase. Let's see.
Wizards won't be completely useless in the combat phase, it looks like, as well, which will be nice.
Right. What does it say about them here?
They're just...
Wizards attempt to fend off their attackers with assailment spells. Ooh.
Right. Be interesting to see when and how wizards can keep casting. Like if I have multiple
what's
things.
going to be more interesting for me to look at as a dwarf player about dispelling and unbinding and stuff like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
So let's see. These aren't coming. I don't know why I'm blah-blah-blahing it here.
You're okay.
We begin with the start of turn sub-phase, which is when certain units perform special actions or take tests. These aren't common, and their details will be clearly stated in their rules. For example, stone trolls would take their stupidity tests at this junction, and it's also when Night Goblin fanatics are placed on the table. So it seems like it's a hero phase.
Yeah.
It's your hero phase.
Essentially, it's a hero phase, and kind of an upkeep of what's going on with units. Are you going to be able to use it later? Nope, failed its stupidity test. Okay, don't need to worry about it anymore.
Let's do the second subphase, and more exciting, command. This is when most characters' special rules fire off. For instance, the Bretonnian Lord brandishing the falcon horn of Fredimund may blow it in the command subphase, hopefully preventing opponents from being able to fly. That seems
okay.
During the command subphase of their turn, if they are not engaged in combat, this character may attempt to use the horn and make a leadership test. If the test is passed, until the start of your next start turn subphase, enemy units cannot use the Fly X special rule. Wow. It's not even a unit.
Okay.
It's just nope. Because I have a falcon, everyone get on the ground.
I have this horn. You cannot fly. Okay.
Boy, my gyrocopter does not like that.
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm pretty sure my gyrocopter's move is, I think, like 1 or nothing. Like
right. It's 1 or fly blank.
Right. It's fly 12, I think, outside of that normally. So
yeah.
Let's see, then we got our cursed blades, we got our buffs.
Oh nice.
There's 7+.
Okay. Range is only self. Okay. Friendly unit that has the undead special rule is
put the guy in the. Oh no,
right,
we don't do that anymore. Well, we don't know.
Right.
We think we don't do that anymore.
Friendly unit that has undead special rule that is within the caster's command range. Oh,
okay.
Can't reroll any rolls to hit. Okay.
So this seems like it seems like they're trying to break themselves off from what we were, but not to the point that the game is foreign.
It's not recognized. Right, yeah.
So, again, I'm interested to see the shooting phase. I hope the one thing I would like to see is less penalties, more buffs. Like how Conquest did it, where as opposed to being more than half the distance away, you're -1. Now just make the shooting be a 6 or a 5 up or whatever, and if you're within half, it's +1.
Right, make shooting very difficult until you get close. Yeah,
but I'd rather get the plus instead of a minus.
Right, you'd rather have the happy number instead of the sad one. Right. Yep. Yeah.
All right. So again, I'm I don't know,
all right.
Man.
I'm excited to see what we get. I'm excited.
Let's see here. Okay. Let's clean some palettes here. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, so starting. I think we already did this one, but we'll do it again anyways. October 3rd, Birds on Rocks.
Birds on Rocks. Yes, they are. It's a really awkward model that I'm not entirely certain what exactly it could be used for, except for, like, I want to say a terrain piece, but what terrain piece has living birds on it?
That's the thing I'm thinking of. With birds, there's typically a model nearby.
Right. And I feel like it would be a death model because I'm looking at ravens. So something in that range, maybe some sort of soul plate model of some sort.
The problem is, like, most death has typically been going bats.
True.
So I wonder. This is a stumper.
It is. It's a difficult one. Could also just be a Warcry warband of some sort?
Yeah, Warcry warband could be like an Ulgu caster.
Okay. Yeah. Could see that.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. This is probably the roughest one.
It's a difficult one. I don't exactly know, and I'm excited to see what it is.
I think I will go Underworld Warband.
Fair enough. The old cop-out.
All right. Here's an exciting one.
Yeah, it
October
is.
10th.
So I start off looking at this going, oh, it's Eldar because sparkly and there's spear. Wait a second. Why is there a chaos symbol?
Yeah, so we got the chaos symbol. We got a lot of swirly stuff. It's kind of a broken
Yeah.
blade. I'm
Mhm.
really kind of hoping that this is finally Valkia.
Oh, it could be her. Yeah, that's very interesting looking. I understand where you can get that now. Yeah, it's some sort of chaos model that has something going on magically with its blade.
Yeah,
And I see where you get the spear for Valkia.
yeah,
Yeah,
I hope it's a spear, but I hope it's a spear of Valkia, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's just a new Slaves of Darkness unit or something.
probably a hero somehow.
Yeah,
Knowing slaves,
yeah.
they've got the whole Stormcast problem.
All right, and then we have from the 17th.
Right. So this is also a Mechanicus model, like the guy on stilts we were talking about earlier. And that would be where I'm at
Yeah,
to begin with.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Finally,
Boy, that's interesting looking and makes me go, it has to be Daughters of Cain, right?
I mean, so here's the thing: is like it's too spiky, so it's definitely Elf
Mhm.
AOS.
Okay.
Too spiky for Lumineth.
Yep.
Is there anything spiky in Idneth?
There are some spiky things. Trying to think of that hilt almost there at the bottom where
Yeah.
it connects. Whether or not I've seen something like that in the army. Because I see where you get the Idneth thought now that you say it.
Because like the eye, there's a lot of like runic eye iconography in Idneth.
In that army. Yeah, there is. There's a decent amount.
And
Very
the bottom kind of
interesting.
looks like a trident going the wrong way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to feel very disappointed with myself whenever this turns into an Idneth thing.
I could see this being either Idneth or Umberneth.
I feel like maybe.
I don't think
Because
it's Daughters.
I don't know. I'm not thinking that. See, the problem is that, like, whenever Idneth do a staff or anything like that, they have this strange, like, coral shape and then whatever it is that you want it.
Right.
Not that iron in the middle there.
Right.
So, also, the other thing that I see here, which is really strange to me and kind of weirding me out as I look at it, is it almost reminds me of the symbol for corn as well.
A little bit, but it's not
Just
corn
the bottom
enough.
half. Just the
don't
bottom
think-
half.
Right.
I don't think it's corn yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's corn. Like corn is one of those on the nose.
Right. I'm not being subtle about this. This is corn. Yeah.
So yeah,
It'll be
think
interesting.
I think it's Umberneth.
Maybe. Maybe this is our whisper of it.
Definitely not the dragon sword like I thought last time.
No. No.
At least that was a cool model.
Yes.
All right, so let's pull up some image to just pull on here to go with our. I imagine relatively pretty brief here, so.
Right. Yeah.
So Stormcast 4th edition.
Yeah. What will they have to do?
So now that it's all but certain that they are going to be the starter boys here, I mean, the one thing I gotta say that I've been saying now for multiple editions is, and we already know, well, we don't know that yet, but it's too much of a big change for GW to consider it. But I would say break these up.
Yeah,
Warrior
it would be
Chamber,
nice.
And like, and here's the thing: I would do it. I would do it kind of the way they do Space Marines in 40K. So as opposed to it being, and again, I guess it would just kind of like be slightly inverse. So like, as opposed to it being like the different sections of the Stormcast or the Space Marine chambers or chapters. It would basically be like, okay, here is the Warrior Brotherhood, and that's going to be Hammers of Sigmar.
Okay.
And that's just the default color. You can still go with any of them because everyone has their Warrior Chamber.
Right, they all have that.
It's going to be the gold boy on the cover.
Okay.
But like whenever you go with, the Sacrosanct, whoever kind of like leans most into those, like say I forget what the blue guys are.
Oh, geez, we're bad at this now, aren't we?
Oh, we're terrible.
Astral something.
I think it's the.
Gosh.
I don't have that book near me. So that's to be another. That'll be the poster boys there, but again, you can play the same color with anybody. Because then that way you can have these armies do different things.
Right.
Trying to moosh them all together to get the same thing out just makes everything taste blander. Honestly, if it was up to me and I could just snap my fingers and make it be, I would just take the new guys, all the Thunderborn or the Thunderstrike, and I'm gonna look at 40k and I'm gonna go, okay, Thunderstrike, you're the most elite. We just got the armor rolled out. We want you to mirror as closely as we can Custodes. We want these 3 to 6 man war bands.
That are highly effective, yeah.
So, like, hell, if you have the new Annihilator unit and they're with the shield rolling out at a 2 up, 5 up.
Right.
And they're getting 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, doing 2 rend, 1 damage pop, and then 6s are mortal wounds or 6s are other attacks. But that unit also costs 350 points for 3.
Right. Whenever you lose that unit, you were very sad, yeah.
Right. And so, like, at that point, you can have these, like, this Stormcast the way they kind of tell you about it without dedicating an entire army to being like, oh, here's 15 models on the table or whatever the hell you go with. And that way, if you are keeping the Warrior Brotherhood the way it is, or even then you'd move over to Sacrosanct, or even the Hunters. I forget what the Vanguard chamber.
There we go. Yeah.
So like, one of those can be your a little bit more elite. I mean, you have Sacrosanct focusing on spell casting and dispelling. You have your Vanguard focusing on movement and running and charging and running and shooting. It's just so unsustainable at where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The problem with that book is you crack it open, and let's say you want to build a strong army. There are at least 3 of every unit in that book, and one of the 3 is the best option for that unit. Flat out, hands down, even points wise, it makes sense to run that unit.
Right.
And the other 2 of those unit only make an appearance if you just don't have the points left.
See, and here's one of the things that where the spiral starts. Like, write your rules and then go back and read them once. If you do that, fulminators do not come out the way they were written.
Okay.
I mean, there's no world where someone who is ingrained with wargaming. What are you doing? Sorry.
You're okay.
There's no one who is ingrained with wargaming can take a second pass at a war scroll like that and go, that's where I want it.
Right.
That's the balance point. Like...
Right. I want it to really hit hard. Yeah, like it was for a little while there. Yeah.
Because again, like, then at that point, what is the point of the concussors?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That it was to the point that was like, why ever would you take them?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Just look at what's standing right beside it. That's what I'm going to take.
right. Our friend Mike that was on a couple months ago, he actually brought Tempestors for a while, and I think he still does. And
Mhm.
surprisingly, they do very well.
Yeah.
The problem is again, fulminators are just so good.
The problem is they are not fulminators. Yeah.
Right. And so, like, the only solution to that is give a shit when you write rules.
Right.
So there's really
Yeah.
no solution to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, but here's the thing: if you break it up, like I'm saying, and again, I know a lot of people don't want it broken up like that because then that means you have more battle tomes and more armies.
Right. I think there is a one battle tome option to this, kind of like how the Auric book was for a time there.
And so here's what I'll say about that. So, yes, putting separate battle tomes into one battle tome would be the route they would probably go, but I kind of don't want them to do that because then I have a chance of getting a battle tome released later in the edition that's actually viable.
Right. Yeah.
Because one of the problems these guys have every edition is that they're first out the gate, and whether GW wants to admit it or whoever wants to admit it, the edition power creep
It's real.
Very real. And again, what's funny is like it is the first year, it's like the first 6 to 12 months of the edition is where you get basically battle tomes that are going to be unusable by the end of the edition.
And part of that I feel like is that when those battle tomes were being written, they didn't know what the edition was actually going to look like.
Right.
Like they had an idea, but there weren't enough games played and there wasn't enough play testing for them to be full on, oh, this is how the edition plays.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I think in second edition, because basically what happens is one book comes out and they go, and like for second edition,
I see.
I would say second edition was Fire Slayers.
Yeah.
Because they came out with their stacking buffs. They came out with fighting more than once, which kind of became representative of what a good army does in second edition.
Right. A lot of armies ended up doing that by the end of the edition. Yeah.
Just like in this edition, it is, who has the lowest rally?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's the route to go. I definitely want to see, because again, whenever the book came out and it was a 3-up save, everyone's like, oh my god, this army's never going anywhere. It needs something against mortals. I am so tired of the combination of all of Sigmar's might and all of Grugny's ingenuity going into just armor that can't even hold up to a mortal wound.
True.
Because like I said, I mean, I have no problem if this army wants to be low damage.
Okay.
I don't care. That's fine. If I just want to have, I basically, and again, I know this is selfish, but I also feel like it's lore-wise accurate. I feel like what it should be is if I put down 100% of my army, turn 1, by turn 5, between 60 and 70% of my army should still be there.
True.
It might be a little
yeah.
It might be a little
but still, some of the army should still be there. Maybe at least 40% should still be on that table.
It should not be, oh my god, I have my Lord Relictor and 4 units or 4 models to my Vindictor list is still here.
Right. Yeah.
And I win off of tricks because you forgot my Lord Relictor could teleport himself.
True enough. Yeah.
Because like where the book lies now, they were a damage heavy list.
Yes. And then by mid edition, they were like, "Whoa, wait! Everyone does damage now."
Right. And so the only thing that left was dragons, Fulminator, Lord Relictor. and you just took some combination of those.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think we have to have a little bit of a conversation about what we kind of want out of 4th edition to fully get into kind of where it needs to go, because like I think I'll boil it down to one aspect, and we'll have a 4th edition conversation later.
Sure.
And I think this is going to be what most conversations that you hear about 4th edition are going to be revolved around.
Mm-hmm.
Battle tactics, grand strats. I think Pandora's box has been opened, and I don't think we get back to the point where we don't have at least one of those.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I can see them getting rid of grand strats.
I think I can also agree with that, simply because we're currently trying to move to the point where they're so difficult that you don't play for it most of the time.
Right.
You kind of get to turn 4 and you go, can I do it? Or you like built the whole army to do it.
Right.
There's no in between.
And honestly, that was one of the things, like, and here I think is one of the reasons why I would personally love to see them both just ejected. I think you feel differently about
a little bit, yeah.
But so here's the thing. So I went to a one-dayer at my local game store, Fabricator Forge, and I brought the Giants' new Broad Stump.
Right.
And I was having a lot of fun with it, by the way. It was tremendous fun. It's a little too tricksy. I know it got one pass, but I don't think it's going to change too much. The issue was I had to choose, do I want to put myself in a good strategic point to keep winning, or do I want to get a battle tactic?
Right.
I could not do both. I had to either make a dumb decision to get 2 points now, or do a smart thing to get 2 points next turn.
Right. Okay.
And I think that is not good game design.
Okay.
I think there's, and again, like, that's where you kind of have this weird Ouroboros of thought where it's like, well, whenever the GHB first came out, one of the things I said was, one of the issues with the grand strats that they have in this book is, if you are winning, then you get your grand strat. If you are not winning, you don't get your grand strat. It's kind of the weird sort of samey thing with battle tactics, where it's like, if you're winning, you don't want a battle tactic that's just going to continue you winning. But I think at the same time, it shouldn't be a battle tactic that makes you do something stupid.
Right. I agree with that.
I think that's very difficult, and I think it's very difficult in each book.
Right. See, I think what would be best in 4th is if we all kind of went, hey, the idea that each book has its own battle tactics is cool. However, I think what they did was current edition GHB is kind of messed up into the point that battle tactics are so difficult. The generic ones are really difficult for a lot of armies. And as a player, you better have been setting up for that tactic you want to take on turn 3 on turn 1.
Right. Well,
and I feel like it's gotten a lot harder for the average player to just get them.
Right.
Whereas I liked where they were even in the last GHB, where I felt like anyone playing the game could look at the basic ones available to everyone and get 4. There were 4 there available for everyone. And what made one person better than the other was how they got that 5th one.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was just off the base ones, not even before we went in someone's book. It'd be nice if we said, ignore the ones in the book. Here's a grouping. There are 4 here that are easy to get, or not easy, but every army can do this without thinking too hard.
Right.
The 5th one, you got to do some gymnastics for. I enjoy that.
So, again, spoilers for the what do we think 4th edition or what do we want from 4th edition show.
Right.
Personally, what I want in a realistic sense, so something that I think would be a change we could actually see beyond just get rid of them.
Right.
Battle tactics are now removed and morphed into secondaries that live in the battle plan. So now you'll have the battle plan will be hold 1, hold 2, hold more, whatever. And then you gain additional points if you have heroes holding the objectives.
Just a secondary, and you and I are both playing with the exact same secondaries when we play this particular mission.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that way it's a little bit more balanced, a little... I mean, again, you're never going to have full balance with armies that play completely different, especially over...
however many armies there are. It's... Yeah.
So, like I said, I think that's going to be at least a way that you're going to have more armies be more competitive, and then that way, if you have one that is a castery-based war scroll or a battle plan, you know what you're kind of getting yourself into, or worst case scenario, you don't have enough wizards to continue with the secondaries, so you lose one game.
Right. Yeah.
As
not
opposed to
an addition.
5. Yeah.
Right.
As opposed to being out of luck for 12 months. Like.
Right. Yeah.
And so with that being said, then for the grand strats, those would probably remain in a close sense that we have.
Okay.
So with this, obviously the biggest thing we need is there needs to be a plethora of grand strats to have just a couple accommodate for each chamber. Because as of right now, like in the current book, the grand strats and the battle tactics were, did you bring dragons? No? Okay. Did you bring Cities of Sigmar? No? I can't help you.
Right. Yeah, you kind of went through the checklist, and there was one that was kind of supposed to be there for each individual army, and some of them just weren't good enough. Right. Yeah.
And the orcs went through the same thing because they were like, here's 3 books in one, so everyone gets 3 grand strats, so you get 3 grand strats. We'll give 1 to each.
Right.
So it should be Thunderstrike gets 3, Vanguard gets 3, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And that is a vital if they're going to continue down the grand strat, that not just this book, but all books get that treatment.
Right.
Other than that, I don't want to see new units.
I agree with you. The army should not need new units. However, it is attached to this company that is a model selling company, as it turns out. And whenever you don't come out with new models, people tend to not buy.
Well, now there's a difference between new models and new units.
So if they just did the refresh of our original Stormcast brethren, you'd be okay with this?
Yes. I think it would be awesome if they came out with, and again, yes, that throws a wrench into my breaking it up, but there's nothing stating that a Liberator now in Thunderstrike armor has to go to the Thunderstrike chamber. It can still be in the Warrior Brotherhood.
Right.
It can still be in the Warrior Brotherhood chamber, and if we got updated Liberators, updated Paladins, updated I forget what the Adjudicators.
Yeah. Yep.
Then that's 3 units. Like that's literally 3 kits. That's not asking too much. Maybe so if we got those 3 and then like updated Lord Relictor, Lord Castellan, and a Lord Celestant.
Sure. Yeah.
You could get rid of the Celestant if I can get a Celestant Prime, because you're going to need.
There we go. A usable Celestant Prime. Honestly, there we go.
I would not put it past getting a new Celestant Prime as the new center figure.
And try and build a good center for the army. Yeah.
Because that model, like I said, it's in person. If you look at it again in a vacuum, much like the Carnosaur, you're like, wow, this is really impressive. And I go, yeah, you should check out his brother, the what's his face on Toralon, and you're like, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, he's terrible. I never bring him.
yeah, you'll never see him. Yep.
Especially now that we have giant dragons.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you got to do something. They got to do
right.
And
I think another reason you'll never see that Toralon is he's still like a bad wizard, and that's part of it. Is like if you're gonna make a Stormcast model, a wizard, give him big mount, make him a good enough wizard that if the opponent has one wizard, you're not like, I wish I hadn't taken him.
Yeah. I mean, it should be 2 cast. +1 to save, or +1 to cast, +1 to dispel.
Yeah. Good enough that you're not like, you brought a single dispel? Well, this guy's not going to do anything this game. Like, how it feels in Stormcast.
Tiny hat, just punch through it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I want different battle tomes, because there's so much. There's no way that you can task another human being with, hey, we have 40 war scrolls for you to look through and make them each feel special and unique. Go.
Right. Yeah. You give this to like a team of 4 people. Each of them writes one of the chambers. And I don't know, 3 months from the end, they all compare notes to make sure somebody didn't go, well, I made the best chamber ever, and you only take this one.
Well, I'm run the charge, and I have impact hits across the board, 3 up.
Right, yeah. You got to pull Johnny in at the end and be like, all right, cool, we fixed it.
Yeah. And again, I know I've advocated this a lot, but for anyone that hasn't listened this far into other episodes, when it comes to Stormcast, as opposed to just having a across-the-board ward save, if it wants to be a mortal wound only ward save, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I can deal with that. I'm all right with it.
Again, let's push the bucket. 2 up save.
Be a tough bucket to push. I don't know. Don't know what would convince them to do that to start with.
I mean, again, if I'm sitting there with 20 models on the table, with a 2 up, 5 up against wards.
Right. Yeah, you might be able to. That doesn't seem as crazy.
Right. It's not that bad. Especially assuming they are going to get rid of Rally.
Yeah, I feel like they're not enjoying Rally right now, especially after some of the changes they had to make to be like, hey, you can only ever rally 10 models because
10 wounds.
10 wounds, thank you. Because we gave some people a 4-up rally, and surprise, you all abused it.
And we had to push all these books back because they had 3-up rally, and you all bitched and moaned, so we had to change that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason that there ever should have been more than a +1 to rally.
Right, yeah. 5-up would have been okay, but some of the stuff that you were able to bring back.
If anything, Stormcast should have been the one to have like the 5-up rally.
I could have seen that because they just get sent right back down, yeah.
Right. A, it's lore accurate, and B, oh shit, my unit of 3 guys, I'm down to 1. Hopefully I'm going to roll 2 dice and hopefully I see a 6. No, that's not going to
happen. Yeah.
The army that needs it ain't going to get it.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the one that I've been rumbling around in my brain.
Okay.
The murder rolls, as they've come to be known.
Right.
I don't know if I want it to stay or not.
For Stormcast here, whether or not they keep exploding. Yeah, I don't know, because it doesn't feel right for the army. Because the explosions only really happened because Be'lakor scorched the sky and said, hey, you can't make it back to Sigmar, right?
So, no, that's not necessarily. So that's why the Thunderstriker better at it.
Right. Okay.
But I agree. I agree completely. It doesn't feel right for the army.
Right.
That you're exploding in such a way that you are damaging those around you. Like, how are you
Right.
getting this enemy targeted lightning burst?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Like, back when Sigmar was building these guys, originally, I think they were supposed to be like fighting side by side, the humans and the elves and the dwarves.
Right.
And that gets really dangerous if whenever Johnny dies, I get blown up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who I'm not standing beside anymore? That guy.
Johnny Lightning Bolt all of a sudden comes over without his
Right.
codpiece, and next thing you know,
He'll be back here in a month after he explodes. Me, I've got shrapnel on my neck. I'm done.
right. And again, like I said, it just, I don't know. Here's kind of my test is whenever there's any sort of animation or any sort of thing that is outside of the book. So, like, if you look at like the Realm of Ruin or even their own animations, whenever a Stormcast dies, it goes back, and then you see like a bzzz, and that's it. You do not see boom.
Right. Yeah.
Or if they're like, if they're panning into a battlefield with Stormcast, you don't hear pap, 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 pap. Like,
Right. Yeah. You don't hear the gunshots in the background as one or two guys get dropped. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, is there popcorn going on? What the hell is happening?
Yes.
So I wouldn't mind seeing that go. But then at the same time, I don't mind if they wanted to do more effects on D6s. You know, more mortal wounds on 6s and such to represent lightning strikes and whatnot. And because, like, I'll tell you, like, for the Vindictors, that feels really good because they get such a few amount of attacks. I mean, I'm sitting there with a 10-man unit that's only been reinforced once, looking at 21 attacks.
Yeah. You need a few mortals for them to be worthwhile of what they're actually doing.
Here's another allegiance ability penalty that I would not mind.
Okay.
You know, whatever you want to call it. You know, the few of Sigmar or Sigmar's elite, whatever.
Yeah.
Units can only be reinforced once.
Sure, keep the sizes down. I mean, I don't know too many people that are trip or double reinforcing a unit anyway.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, so that way you can do a rule that's a little stronger.
Right. Because it won't affect as many models. Yeah.
Right.
I also like the idea, to be honest, I forget what the average bravery, isn't it about 7 in that army?
I think it's pretty high. It should be higher.
Is it actually higher than that? Because I was going to say, I want to make sure.
Let's double check. So,
Vindicator. Yeah, bravery 7.
Yeah, bravery 7.
Oh, then banner to 8. Okay, I'm always forgetting about the banners and such.
Well, not everything has banners, so.
Right. Because I'm always thinking, like, if there's a unit that shouldn't be, or an army that should not be running, because where are they going to run to?
Right.
I would have. I feel like it'd be Stormcast.
Yeah, I have no problem if they want to make them bravery 8 or bravery 9.
Increase bravery, or have maybe as a replacement rule for the exploding. When you watch one of your brothers sail back up, you get +1 bravery for the turn, so no one's going to run.
Right.
But next turn, okay, he's already gone. We don't see his flashing light anymore. My bravery down. Sure, it makes it so you probably aren't going to ever lose anyone to a bravery roll.
Honestly.
But if your opponent has an effect that hits bravery, it's still doable.
Yeah. Well, so here's what you do. You do the counterbalance. So you leave the bravery at 7, and you give them the old school OCR Bone Reaper allegiance ability, immune to battle shock.
Yeah.
And then that is so spot on, so flavorful. Right. And on top of that, it's one of the things where it's like, if you're looking at a unit of between 3 and 6 models, chances are it's not going to run anyways.
Right, yes. But when one of them does run, you're like, oh boy, that really hurt. Like
Yeah.
that was 80 points just ran away right there.
And I would have no problem if they wanted to make it so like, hey, we'll leave it so anything that targets bravery is still doable,
Right.
unlikely but doable, and
Yep.
then that way we could have our banners actually do something a little more useful and something they're going to remember it actually does something.
Yeah, but everyone's got a banner that just says +1 bravery now. I think they like that it's just you have a banner, it gives +1 bravery. All right, cool. And then you get the one or two oddballs that don't.
What
But for the
about
most part, that's what they do.
anytime a hero
Mhm.
issues a command to itself, the banner resonates that if the unit's within like 12 or something, they get the effects of it too.
Get a fun idea like that. Yeah, yeah.
That needs a lot of workshopping, but
It does. It does. But something like that.
something, yeah, that could be really interesting because then you have to worry about where your banners are
Right.
in
Yeah.
relation to your heroes.
Sure. Yeah. And I like the idea because it helps you get more out of those command points then. And you're smaller.
Right.
For me.
Other thing is, I mean, water banners, but they're long metal poles
Mm-hmm.
that are like lightning rods.
Oh boy. Here we go.
So that's where you get the 6 up or the 6 to hit does a mortal wound.
There we go. Just as long as you have your banner in the unit, you've got it.
Because that's where the lightning comes from.
Yep. Yep. We're just channeling it down. It's fine. It's fine.
Or if they keep rally, those guys could be the one that gives you +1 to rally rolls.
Right. Yeah. As long as your banner's still there.
Because
Sure.
again, they're trying to put you back into that unit. So what do you need? You need a lightning rod.
Yeah, I need a flag to get you down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, it's lightning rod. It's just
Yeah.
oh, I got Terry.
Oh, there we go. I caught him.
Yeah, listen, I mean, and this is what drives me nuts. Like, if they could just come up with a Stormcast book that could weather the tide of time.
Right, which is the hard part, I feel like, for them. Because, as we know, and we said at the start of this conversation, they make and write the Stormcast book before they fully understand the edition.
Right. And again, they did it with the Iron Jaws, but it didn't help them. Well, they didn't go far enough. They didn't go far enough with the little booklet that the Iron Jaws got.
Yeah.
They should have taken that opportunity to update some rules, update some of this, update some of that.
It should have gotten the Beastman treatment, where it suddenly became a good, viable army.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, that's what all those should be.
Yeah. And so, like, if they're not willing to take that step into these, then they need to start. And again, we already saw they did the indexes for 40K, and they didn't. They did nothing about worrying about trying to come up with something balanced like they did the first time they came out with indexes.
Yeah, no, the indexes did not go as well this time over as the beauty of early 8th.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
So, because again, in all honesty, this is probably just the army I would play if it was, because I'm not smart enough to play armies that require deep thought and strategy.
Right. I hear you. And to be fair, as someone who tries to do that all the time, come game 3 of day 1, you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that you're in the same boat right now. So this is even, because if you have any sort of stamina, I lose right now.
Could be, in all honesty, like, I honestly feel, and again, it's one of those things where I'm not cognizant of it, so you'd be a better judge than me, but I feel my games at LVO, win, lose, or draw with Stormcast, were some of the most fun I had playing.
Even when you were losing, you still seemed rather excited while we were at LVO because you were just having fun. You didn't have to worry too much about what you were doing. Yeah. You knew the army inside and out and what it was supposed to do. Yeah. And it either occurred or it didn't, or you came over and you said, you won't believe what happened.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, like, whenever you have, that's one of the reasons why I like defensive armies.
Right.
Because you have that, like, oh, I just need to break the curve a little bit.
Right.
And my opponent's going to be just biting his dice.
Right. Yep.
So, like I said, I really want to see them succeed, and I'm really interested to see the next one because clearly they have put a hard wedge between Stormcast and Cities.
Yes, they have. And it's very interesting to see where they were like, oh, the 1 in 4 rule. Yeah, we ain't worrying about that anymore.
Which again, I'm still shocked at that because like half of this book is literally, hey, bring some city models. It's fun. And like
yeah. Nope, we're getting rid of that whole idea.
What this is, this relationship here. Okay, I don't know if you knew anyone like this in high school or in college or anything, where you met someone and all they do is talk about their significant other. The entire time, just blah, 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 oh, they're so great, so this, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Then you meet the significant other, and they are just assholes. Like...
You mean an abusive relationship? Is that what you're trying to talk to us about?
They don't talk about the other person at all. Like, it's just...
I hear you.
They bitch about how they got a parking ticket because they took up 2 spots, but how are they supposed to know?
Yeah. Well, with the yellow line there, Paul, we all can see it.
Well, yeah, but I was in a hurry.
Right.
That is how the Stormcast Cities of Sigmar relationship is coming out.
We all heard about the Cities of Sigmar and how wonderful it was, and then they showed up, and you were like, "That asshole? That's who we're talking about."
Oh, look at those guys! Look at that guy with the ogre. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's probably gonna be my recommendation for 5th edition too. Is the exact same thing. Be more like Custodes. Break them up.
Yeah.
Have some separate books, and then have a I don't know what you would call the big wall of Stormcast.
But something like that.
I mean, you should just go something easy like a Grand Crusade.
Sure. Yeah.
Or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm all right with it. I don't know if a Grand Crusade, because I feel like our human side has that right now with what they're doing. But
like Grand Campaign or
right, or just an impossible task or something, because that's what Sigmar is sending them on.
Possible blah blah blah. No, you gotta have. I mean, I don't know. I think Grand Crusade works for their big WoW version where you can just take them how you want. And then
right,
terrible everything else choices.
Right, yeah. And you just, why did you do this? I don't know. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, possibilities, man.
Yeah, it is a book with a lot of possibilities, and I think a lot of people agree with you that they should probably break up the chambers a little bit more because, well, like I said earlier, if everything does the same thing, I'm just going to take the best version. Right. So,
and again, like I said, and just to be absolutely clear, because I do shit on GW a lot, and I'm fully aware of it. So I want to call out what's a spade here. It is unreasonable to expect the number of war scrolls in here to be balanced.
Right? No, you're never going to get this book fully right. There's too many models in here.
Right, and it's too big. It's too bloated. It doesn't know what it wants to be. And so what ends up happening is there's going to be something broken. The only way to fix it is to break up the chambers. And again, if they want to put it all in one book like a big wall, that's fine.
Yeah.
But just don't
assign more than one writer to that, please.
Right. And make sure one of them you don't bring back Matt Ward for. Actually, no. You can bring back Matt Ward for Stormcast.
Ooh. If we're gonna bring it back for one thing, we could probably do Stormcast.
I could see him getting pretty.
I mean, it's just Space Marines and Age of Sigmar. He'd be in for it.
Just call one. I mean, we're gonna get a Marnius Calgar so fast.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we've overstepped. We're definitely going to be talking more about 4th edition in the upcoming months here, especially because there's not going to be... I mean, we're going to get one more battle tome. We're going to get one more Dawnbringer book.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll have to sit down and talk about the Dawnbringer books at some point and what we felt.
Boy, man, I'll tell you, like, I wish our schedules were freer because, like, I don't know if you actually looked in the Dawnbringers very much.
I haven't too terribly much yet, if I'm honest with you. I kind of like skimmed, grabbed my rules, and ran whenever I was looking at those.
Whenever you get a chance,
mm-hmm.
Is it? There is actually, like, I can't find it in this one, so I wonder if it's only in the first one. But there was a campaign section.
Oh, okay.
Where it was like a big flow chart of you play and then this happens and then this happens. Then
a nice like lost. Depending on who won, and you can keep going down the tree depending on that. Okay.
And I was like, oh, that would be so much fun to do stuff like that. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it was in this book. In the last one.
We'll have to look at that. Maybe we convince Neil he's got to use that for the big hex campaign. Like if you and the same person keep fighting over an area.
Oh yeah, that's
you just move through that chart. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's going to be that, and we will take it from there. Next month we'll probably be talking about next Dawnbringer book.
I mean, next Dawnbringer book, and if there are any releases that they bring out for the holidays, I think that'll be whenever we're talking about it too.
I think this is really, I mean, well, that is true. Well, no, October's over, so yeah, we got our October.
So they're going to get
was the cities. We already talked about cities. I don't think there's any surprises left there.
No.
So they typically don't release too much in November. We get the or the battalions in December, and then Flesh Eater Courts January. And then
and then old where we won't shut up about it for a little while there. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I really enjoy fantasy.
I do.
But to me, it is also very much like it's like cheesecake.
Okay.
Where you fucking love it, but after so many bites, you're like, I can't do cheesecake for a little bit, guys.
Right. Yeah.
It's still like it takes. I guess it takes too much active memory.
There we go. Yeah. Too much RAM is needed. Yeah, it's okay.
Too much RAM. There's not enough integrated memory on this. So yeah, sorry, but
yeah. There we go.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next month.
Talk to you all next month.